Well, it's launched a new service for teachers. We'll tell you how OpenAI says this will help teachers be more efficient. And no real ID at the airport? Up next at 8, the new TSA rule that could hit your wallet. Welcome back to Mornings on 2. It's now 7:56. OpenAI officially launched ChatGPT for teachers. It's a new dedicated AI workspace specifically designed for K through 12 educators and school districts all over the country. It's exclusively for educators and school leaders, not for students. School district officials say it's a supplemental tool. It's not meant to replace the human role that teachers play.
Absolutely, what we would not want is ChatGPT to replace critical thought, right? We absolutely still believe that instruction and supports for students are best delivered by a trusted adult and by the teacher.
Now, OpenAI says the system is designed to be a significant time saver, helping teachers generate lessons plans and draft parent communications and adapt materials for a variety of student needs. Many teachers say they already use ChatGPT to design lesson plans, analyze writing samples, and find creative ways to engage their students. Well, the global clean energy investment soared to a record high this quarter. It was driven primarily by the accelerated adoption of electric vehicles. EV sales broke previous records around the world, creating a massive demand that's funneling capital into the entire clean transportation supply chain. Billions of dollars are now being committed to charging stations, building new gigafactories for batteries and other EV components. Well, the 49ers, they're getting back on the practice field today to get ready for next Monday night's game against the Carolina Panthers. The 49ers are signing kicker Matt Gay to their practice squad now. He was just cut by the Washington Commanders earlier this week. Starter Eddie Pinheiro is dealing with a hamstring injury. He'll probably miss a game or two. There's some irony in picking up Matt Gay, though. The Commanders released him and signed Jake Moody. the kicker the 49ers picked in the third round of the 2023 draft, but was cut because he was inconsistent. The Golden State Warriors will get back to the Chase Center tomorrow after a 6-game road trip. Last night, the Warriors were severely shorthanded in Miami. They played without 5 of their best players because of injuries or illness. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Al Horford were all out of the lineup. Now, despite a big 20-4 deficit to start the game, the Warriors did fight back, even took a brief lead in the third quarter. Brandon Podziemski led the team with 20 points, but the Miami Heat forced 23 turnovers and they pulled away late. And Miami went on to beat the Warriors 110-96.
So I want to just say, as OEA president, that immigrants are welcome here and ICE needs to get out of Oakland.
Oakland teachers and neighbors standing with immigrants following ICE activity near an elementary school. It's a concern layered on top of the budget deficit facing the district. And just in this morning, another contender for Nancy Pelosi's congressional seat, the San Francisco supervisor throwing her name in the ring. And record-breaking Thanksgiving travel expected, while a new poll finds nearly half of Americans are rethinking their plans. Who's hitting the road and why some are staying home.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
All right, 24-hour difference here. Live look across downtown Oakland this morning, where you have overcast skies, a little rain as well. It's something that we did not see yesterday, but we knew was going to return. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
Good morning. I'm Gaskia Mikhaelian. A busy Thursday, November 20th. Weather is a big part of that, as it is every day. But this sort of weather is better for those who have to get out and about later in the morning and day, right, Steve?
Yes, correct, because we're seeing things winding down here. We had our overnight rain into the morning. We're about done, although we're not completely done here. I mean, there's still some drizzle out there, light rain, especially south, and I think there'll be some picking up a little later. When the front went through, now the upper low is on the way. 40s, 50s. We've been stuck all morning long on these temps here. There goes our front, but now dropping in will be the upper low, and you can see already activity on the north coast. So I expect that to pick up later on for us as well. From San Jose down to Morgan Hill, also in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and a little bit east, but almost done with this system, but not yet. Tomorrow will be done as the low ends up in Southern California will be on the drier side. You can blame it on the rain. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers after the morning rain. Another cool day, upper 50s, low 60s. All right, Sal's here. It was really bad. It got better. Is it still okay or something new?
Well, that little
San Jose?
that little front in San Jose, whatever I don't think I'm calling it the right thing.
Yes, you are.
Is it a little front, or
yes,
is it it's the back edge of the system? Is that?
That is
I'm trying
correct.
to learn from you, Steve.
Sal, you're 100%. I'll give you an A.
Well, why, thank you. It just passed through, and it was raining, so things were a little bit slow there in San Jose, and it's not unusual for people to slow down. Fortunately, we didn't get a lot of major crashes, but let me put up the grid. You can see for yourself that 101 and 85, and all of them are slow. We had some crashes northbound 101 in Mountain View, so Mountain View's not great right now. All of 101 is slow, and that South Bay commute is not doing well. So if you have any flexibility, you may want to put it off. Let's talk about the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. That looks a little different. It's a little drizzly there, but it is backed up to just beyond the maze. Metering lights are on. Now, let's go back to the desk.
We're still feeling and seeing the effects of the recent government shutdown on air travel.
Yeah, it's something KTVU's Aaron Dickens is tracking from SFO Airport this morning. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning. Yeah, it just started raining here at the airport again, so you really want to be careful if you're coming down here. You could see behind me the roads are pretty slick. And we definitely have a lot to talk about when it comes to travel, especially after the government shut down. San Francisco, though, is continuing to make a comeback. Officials say 160,000 people are expected at SFO in one day. That's tomorrow on November 21st. And then 6.3 million travelers are expected at the airport between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. That's about a 4% increase from last year. Now, AAA is expecting a new record nationwide. 81.8 million people expected to travel at least 50 miles from home over the Thanksgiving holiday. That's an additional 1.6 million compared to last year. And of course, most people are driving. Now, according to that new poll, the impact of the government shutdown, it is still lingering. 41% of Thanksgiving travelers have rescheduled or adjusted their plans. 40% of Christmas travelers have done the same thing, and 48% of Americans are concerned about flying due to safety reasons, and this poll is from the Points Guy.
I think that there's a lot of concern out there about air travel safety because of the shortage of air traffic controllers, something that was ended by the shutdown. In fact, it's just as bad, if not worse, and it has been for the past several years. It's been an ongoing concern. I think you're still going to see air traffic control shortages for the next few years at least.
So officials say today about 120,000 people are going to come to the airport, and then tomorrow 160,000. So that gives you kind of an idea that, you know, how many more people are coming tomorrow. And just be careful if you're coming down here today. Aaron Dickens, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Aaron, thank you. New this morning, San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan says she's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat in the House. Pelosi's represented San Francisco for nearly 4 decades. She announced her retirement earlier this month. Supervisor Chan says her 2 decades in public service and work as the Budget Committee Chair on the Board of Supervisors give her the experience and skills needed for the position. She says she's ready to handle President Trump's attacks on immigrants, the LGBTQ community, people of color, and the working class.
Are strategic, we're thoughtful, we can maneuver very difficult political terrain and still deliver resources that San Francisco deserves.
Supervisor Chan came to the U.S. from Hong Kong when she was 13. She and her brother were raised by a single mother. She says her priorities include making sure San Francisco remains a sanctuary city and is affordable for more than the wealthy.
I would say that not only that I represent San Francisco values, I can deliver for San Francisco. San Francisco needs a fighter and defender of our values, but also needs someone that be pragmatic and having a strategic approach.
Supervisor Chan faces at least 2 other candidates, California State Senator Scott Wiener and former Chief of Staff to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Shoykat Chakrabarty.
Well, in Oakland, there were tense moments near an elementary school because of ICE activity. We talked to a man who says he was confronted by plainclothes federal agents at gunpoint.
I was feeling like intimidated, and I feeling like they tried to shoot me. I escaped and run, and I crashed my car.
Well, the man crashed his car near 31st and West Streets. The agents caught up but did not arrest him. Hoover Elementary and Preschool went into what's called a secure school protocol. Teachers, union reps, and others surrounded the campus to try and protect students.
We will stand up against this type of fascist engagement in our city. That's what Oakland is known for. And so we're just getting started.
The Department of Homeland Security responded to the incident this morning, saying it was a targeted enforcement operation against one person. They say the person they were looking for has a long history of arrests, including for things like domestic battery, multiple DUIs, and possession of a controlled substance.
That action by the feds was one of 2 main topics at a meeting of the Oakland Unified School District. The other, the district's $100 million budget deficit. Public safety also a top concern. The meeting came 1 week after a student at Skyline High was injured by gunfire on campus.
Hundreds of community allies showed up to ensure that our schools remained safe and our community was supported. So I want to just say, as OEA president, that immigrants are welcome here and ICE needs to get out of Oakland.
Before the school board meeting, a parent who didn't want to be shown on camera said student safety is a top priority.
They're going to be protected, everything. Make it easy for everyone to understand what the process is of how the kids are going to get to school, how they're going to leave, what they're going to do after or even before.
Oakland Unified says it must cut spending by $100 million over the next 2 years. 2 budget options were proposed by the school board. Both would keep all schools open and reduce the size of the school district's central administrative office. There are proposals to make cuts to things like cleaning services and programs for teacher development.
Time now is 8:08, and we want to see the commute on 80 because some of that drizzle has moved through. It's not hard rain, but it is slowing the commute down. Earlier, as you know, or overnight, we had some of the harder rain, and it caused some puddles. But right now, it's looking kind of normal. And if you look at the commute, things are slowing down everywhere. But people aren't really going fast enough to get into violent collisions on most of these freeways. It's just too slow to do that. You can see almost everywhere, though, is kind of filled in. So this is the kind of day where nothing to write home about, but certainly no picnic driving out there almost everywhere you look. Even Highway 24 now looks to have some problems right near the cul-de-sac. You can see how heavy it is. It's solid from Walnut Creek all the way to Oakland. So this is, just know what you're getting into when you get out there. 8:09, let's go back to the desk.
Well, the countdown is on for the Justice Department to release all the Epstein files, but there are concerns that all the information won't be released to the public. And the reason may stem from an action recently called for by President Trump. Plus,
it was not a prank. No one's laughing.
It's very harmful because of the political state that we're in.
Chaos on campus sparked by someone impersonating an immigration agent, while students at Sacramento State say their school is failing in its response.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby and Myers, we know the stakes: your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Some of the stories we're following here at 8:13. A UC Berkeley student has died days after he was found unconscious outside a pool. Berkeley police found the young man unresponsive at an off-campus fraternity house where more than 300 people were gathered. Police are submitting a case to the DA for potential charges against the fraternity's adult safety coordinator, who's accused of providing alcohol to minors. More police officers are patrolling the area around San Jose State University after threatening graffiti was found on a bathroom wall. University officials say it's the second time in 2 weeks racist graffiti's been found on campus. Some lecturers and professors have moved their classes online or canceled them altogether. The FBI has been notified.
President Donald Trump says he will meet with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani this Friday. The meeting will take place in the Oval Office and will be the first time the two meet since Mamdani defeated former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in the mayoral race earlier this month. Trump has slammed Mamdani, labeling the Democratic Socialist a communist, threatening to deport Mamdani, who was born in Uganda, and also threatening to pull funding from the city. Mamdani has been a prominent critic of the president.
President Trump signed legislation ordering the Department of Justice to release unclassified files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
But there are several loopholes that could keep some information from being released. One reason files can be withheld is if they include victim information or images of child sexual abuse or anything that's classified. Another reason is if information could jeopardize an active federal investigation. You might recall that just last week, President Trump demanded the Justice Department open an investigation into Democrats mentioned in emails that were turned over from the Epstein estate. Attorney General Pam Bondi quickly launched that investigation.
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information.
Well, information that cannot be withheld because of, quote, embarrassing reputational harm or political sensitivity also could be included in the emails.
There are a lot of components to this. There are a lot of qualifiers to this. Nonetheless, it's an important development, but it's not necessarily the end of this fight about what's in those files and what people will actually see because of how DOJ will handle this.
The Justice Department is required to disclose all of those documents within 30 days.
Future students at UC schools will have to pay higher tuition as the Board of Regents there voted 13-3 to increase tuition by as much as 5% annually starting in the fall of 2027. Regents also voted to decrease financial aid. The vote came after an hours-long meeting at UCLA, which was interrupted several times by student protesters. Regents say the increase is needed to offset cuts by the Trump administration, along with a reduction in state funding and increasing inflation. The Trump administration moving ahead with a plan to dismantle the Department of Education. Education Secretary Linda McMahon released a video this week pointing to the recent record-long government shutdown as proof that the department is not necessary. She argued the agency can disappear for weeks without disrupting education. It isn't needed.
The Federal Department of Education furloughed 90% of its staff. And what happened? Nothing.
Department of Education was created by Congress. The president does not have legal authority to tear it down.
Democrats are strongly criticizing the move, and as we heard, some say the president lacks the legal authority to dismantle a department created by Congress.
8:16 your time. An incident at Sacramento State University sparking outrage over campus safety and administrative transparency. Campus police arrested a 19-year-old for allegedly impersonating an ICE agent and recklessly driving a decommissioned public safety vehicle through a parking garage before hitting a student. It happened November 10th, and there is now growing concerns among students and faculty about how serious the school is taking this incident.
Very low accountability, I think, on their part. Sac State needs to really step up. Like, we have to step up our plan.
Like, our school hasn't made out a statement or anything. This was not a prank. No one's laughing.
Many students and teachers want the school to explain the delay in notification and clarify its procedures for responding to future real-world emergencies.
Time now is 8:17, and last time I was talking about Highway 24. We do have a lot of slow traffic leaving Walnut Creek and heading over to Oakland. And that's because, you know, when it rains or even after it's been raining, we have problems near the Caldecott. Now, we had some earlier issues there. The lanes are open, but look how slow it is getting from Walnut Creek to Oakland. It's also slow getting from Hercules area all the way to Berkeley. And then when you get to the Bay Bridge, we are backed up. And this morning, we're backed up on before the maze. So I don't know where you start counting, but if you're driving on 580, you might as well start counting right near the Grand Lake area before you make it through here. And that's a very long backup. Now, BART had some minor delays this morning, but I would still say, if it were me, I would still take public transit into the city if I could swing it. 8:18. Let's bring Mr. Steve Paulson back in.
Mr. Sal Castaneda, I thank you, sir. We'll get to it here. Well, look at this. Mount Davidson and Castro Valley neck and neck at the wire on a photo finish, 0.52. Thank you, Steve, Mount Davidson and Castro Valley, right? I think that's the most. Berkeley was close, 44 100s. Oakland at 41 100s. Now, somebody may sneak in after everything's said and done with a little bit more, but the Mount Davidson overachieved, and there were a few that overachieved. Mount Tamalpais, almost a half inch. I don't think they'll get there, though, unless something develops later. Woodacre, San Rafael, Mill Valley, and Novato, all with 0.35, 0.34, 0.31, and a quarter of an inch. The low coming in tonight may give them a little bit more here before everything's said and done. Union City, almost a half inch of rain. Morgan Hill, our observer, Chris Henry, 0.45. This November now ties for the second wettest in his climate history, and it's only, what, the 20th, so he may get into second place here after everything's said and done. Hayward, 45 100, San Jose a third, Palo Alto a third, Los Gatos a third, Daly City 0.29, and Millbrae 0.23. You're kind of favoring areas south and on the peninsula, Steve. I know. I did it on purpose this time. Areas to the north cleared out. Areas east are beginning to clear out, but we're still dealing with this system right there. It's moving through San Jose, the Santa Cruz Mountains, and the Santa Clara Valley. But the front moving out, only to be followed by the low dropping in later this afternoon tonight. So be careful. 40s, 50s on the temps haven't changed all morning long. They are getting snow up in the mountains, and surprisingly, there's no winter weather advisory or anything. There is for the central and southern Sierra, but if we can get 1 to 6 inches of snow, I'll declare victory and say that's good. We do have our low dropping in, so once that moves through late tonight, the low will be in Southern California by tomorrow. Our pattern is changing until what looks to be around the 29th, but we're going to get a little bit more rain later this afternoon tonight. Blame it on the rain, mostly cloudy, kind of cool to mild, but scattered showers will be in the on the menu for later today, upper 50s, 60s. But can you dry us out a little bit? Yes, I can. After tomorrow, it does look good into the weekend and early next week.
Steve, thank you. As Bay Area pharmacies are shrinking, Amazon is stepping in. The feature announced just this morning to get prescriptions delivered same day to your door.
It's closer to winter than summer, but we're already thinking about next year's Zip trips. And this year, we're doing something different. Instead of us picking the cities, we want to hear from you. Tell us why your hometown should be our next Zip trip destination. Just scan the QR code, then record a video or send us a few photos telling us all about your city, and we could choose it for next year's Zip trip lineup. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Tipping culture varies across the country depending on the state, and now a new study is finding most restaurants are seeing more tips compared to last year. California, however, ranked the lowest in the country, and that's according to Restaurant Trends report. On average, Californians tip about 17%. Delaware led the nation with most tipping a little more than 21% on average, while other best tippers can be found in New Hampshire, West Virginia, and Indiana. And we've been asking this morning, how much do you typically tip at restaurants? 15% to 20%, or 15% or less, 15 to 20%, or 30%, or 20% or more. There's a lot of percentages going on here. My bad. I apologize. Anyway, 30% of you say 20% or more. That's what you tip. 57% of you say 15 to 20%, and 15% less. That's 13% of you. Did you keep track of all that? Good, because there'll be tests later.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Most of us tip between 15 and 20%.
Yeah, most of us tip that.
Okay.
All right, there you go. It's a huge rally on Wall Street, and NVIDIA is getting a lot of the credit.
Pam Cook is a big tipper. She's back with today's dollars.
And I love math, but that was a lot of
That's
percentages.
a lot of percentages,
Even
yeah.
for you. Well done, Andre. Yeah, talking about NVIDIA, it certainly has the numbers to back up the hype. NVIDIA easily beat the street's estimates in its quarterly earnings report. CEO Jensen Huang says demand for its chips are off the charts and rejected the idea of an AI bubble. That is taking all three indexes up this morning. The rally started right when that opening bell rang this morning. Now, the NASDAQ was up about 500 points or close to it. It has pulled back from that level, but still up a full percentage point. Right now, the S&P 500 still hanging on to 0.75% gain. And there's a live look as we take you live to the New York Stock Exchange. The Dow Jones up 260 points. It was up more than 600. So little settling in, little profit taking maybe as some of those numbers shot up this morning. Amazon Pharmacy is launching same-day medication delivery across the Bay Area. This rollout aims to help customers quickly receive urgent and routine prescriptions for health conditions. Prime members will get the most benefit. They receive their first same-day delivery for a new prescription free of charge. Subsequent same-day refills will be available to Prime subscribers for a $3 fee. Spotify just launched a new feature so listeners can get a better look at all the work that goes into making their favorite songs. The new feature is called Song DNA. It showcases the people behind the songs, including the producers, the engineers, the songwriters, and even the background vocalists. It will also show which songs are sampled for the song and other projects involving the song's collaborators. Uber set to offer robot deliveries on sidewalks in Europe for the first time. It is partnering with Starship Tech to launch the service in December around the UK. That includes food deliveries through Uber Eats. Uber says the Starship robots can get food delivered in less than half an hour for distances of 2 miles or less. Uber plans to expand the robot delivery service to other countries in Europe next year and to the U.S. in 2027. I'm Pam Cook. That's a look at your dollars and cents.
Thank you, Pam. Coming up, Pope Leo speaks with the governor of his home state, how what's happening in Illinois is now on the international stage. As we're getting more information about what sparked a chaotic situation involving federal agents near a West Oakland elementary school, we'll examine how fear is driving many members of the community to make major changes to how they move through their day. Then what could be an unexpected cost at the airport for those who don't have a critical piece of identification. We'll examine a proposed rule and how much you could have to pay.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gassia Mikhaelian.
I'm Andre Sr. It's Thursday, November 20th. You can see it's a little dark outside, not as sunny as it usually is. Steve Paulson, if it wasn't for you, the weather would be like a box of chocolates. We wouldn't know what we'd get. But thank you for giving us a heads up today.
We'll get a break after today. How's that?
All right.
Yeah,
I like it.
At least into, I think, until about the 29th. So I think we're good through Thanksgiving after today. There's the system. Sal's been talking about it, so I have to show it. It's into Santa Cruz now, Santa Clara Valley, out there to Stockton, but we're almost getting through this system. That's the front, but there's still more to go. Tampa, look at that. Even Santa Cruz now, you get in the rain, the fog, and it's been a cold one. Upper 40s, low 50s on these temps. They haven't budged all morning long. Mount Davidson and Castro Valley, 0.52. A little different twist than the usual suspects on the most rain so far. Berkeley and Oakland have done well themselves. The system, though, is moving out, but to the north, here comes the upper low. And that you can already see activity on the north coast. That will play into our weather later today. So you can blame it on the rain if you want. It's been a rainy month, but after today, we'll start to get a break here until about the 29th. But temperatures staying cool, upper 50s to low 60s. Speaking of cool, here he is, Mr. Sal Castaneda. We back to San Jose, or is that better?
Yeah, well, it's not better. As a matter of fact, the whole Bay Area.
It's not better, is it?
Yeah, no, nothing. You know, this little drizzle that came through seemed to throw some people for a loop. As you said, it wasn't major, and it's not downpour, but it's just enough to slow traffic. Almost everywhere you look now, it has been slow. So if you have any discretion, you may want to put off the trip for the next hour or two. 24 is slow, 580 is super slow, the Bay Bridge. You can see what we're dealing with here. Look at all the red on the map. South Bay commute, Steve mentioned it, 280, 101, and 85 are slow. 101 is especially slow driving up to Mountain View because of some earlier problems. 8:31, let's get back to the headlines.
Thank you, Sal. Bay Area soccer fans gearing up for the championship game of the National Women's Soccer League this weekend in San Jose.
As part of the excitement surrounding the game, organizers have brought in an unusual floating soccer field. KTVU's Allie Rasmus is live from Pier 50 in San Francisco with much more. Good morning to you, Allie.
Good morning. This is it. We are standing on this floating soccer pitch. It's on Pier 50 out in the bay. So if you notice the camera shifting just a little bit, we're getting our sea legs here. It's a little bit rocking just a little bit back and forth here because of the weather. But it's not a full-size soccer field, but you can see the goal here behind me. This is all part of a celebration, really, of a Bay Area milestone. For the first time, the Women's National Soccer League championship game will be played in the Bay Area at PayPal Park. Now, this floating pitch was part of the fanfare surrounding all that, and we do have some video to show you of that pitch making its rounds through the bay on the water. And the teams won't be playing on this field. This is not a full-size field, obviously. They'll be playing at PayPal Park, but this is a sign, organizers say, of the growing popularity of soccer as a major marquee sporting event in the Bay Area. Here to tell us more about it is Brandon Hannon. He's the managing partner at Skylark, the agency that organized and came up with the idea for this floating pitch promotion. Tell us how the idea came about.
Thanks for coming out here in the rain, Allie. It's a bit sprinkly, but the idea, the league wanted to continue to sort of push on the creativity and the growth of the National Women's Soccer League, and they wanted to go big. And what's bigger than creating the only floating soccer pitch currently existing in North America? And as you said, went out onto the water on Tuesday. And so the opportunity to showcase the sort of grand scale of the 2025 NWSL Championship presented by Google Pixel taking place on Saturday.
And then later today, there will be a local team, some local teams on a much smaller scale that will get a chance to play on this pitch.
Yeah, we're certainly hoping that the weather clears up a little bit, but the local chapter, San Francisco Soccer Without Borders, a local nonprofit, will come out and will host a practice out here. So an opportunity to sort of kick a few balls in the goal and to celebrate with our local community as we build towards the championship on Saturday.
All right, Brendan Hannon with Skylark, the organization that came up with this idea of the floating pitch. And again, we do hope that the weather improves a little bit. It just started to come down and rain a little harder since we've been out here. But hopefully it will let up just in time for that youth soccer group to come out here and have a chance to practice on this pitch out on the water. Live in San Francisco, Allie Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Allie, thank you so much. Time now is 8:35. If you do not have a real ID or passport, you could soon face a fee while traveling. In addition to the fees, travelers would be required to have their identity verified on a new biometric kiosk system before they can move on in the security line. The fee would allow passengers to access TSA checkpoints for 10 days before facing another charge. It's not clear when the new system or the fee will roll out. There is a public comment period on the proposed change.
But he slammed like this, so I was feel hell of fear. Why? Because you never know if they're gonna shoot you.
A West Oakland resident says he was confronted by federal agents at gunpoint outside his home Wednesday morning, a block away from Hoover Elementary. He says he got scared and took off, and that federal agents chased him until he crashed. He says the agents caught up with but did not arrest him. This incident sparked concern about the safety of students and the surrounding community. This morning, the Department of Homeland Security said ICE did not target Hoover Elementary School or go on school grounds, said agents were conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations against a man who's in the country illegally and has been arrested multiple times for battery, DUI, and possession of a controlled substance. DHS says the man fled and drove to the area of the school, which has brought all the attention to the area. This morning, we welcome Monique Berlanga, Executive Director of Centro Legal de la Raza, to the studio to learn more about reaction to that incident. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you. Good morning.
This does not appear, according to DHS, to be any sort of an immigration sweep. Does that change the community response?
So I would say no, right? And that is what we've been trying to ensure the community, is that the immigration enforcement that we've been seeing throughout the county over the past 6 months or so has been targeted enforcement or enforcement that's taking place at ICE check-ins or court hearings. We have not seen raids or sweeps or just random community enforcement. However, folks are still on high alert, and situations like this where folks don't know what's happening, you just see, a chase and collisions, and it's near a school, and you have unidentified officers who are not identifying themselves even when asked. It creates panic, it creates confusion, and has the same impact, the same chilling impact in the community. But we do want to assure folks that, as far as we know, this was targeted enforcement.
What do you say to people who may be targeted by immigration enforcement?
Yes, right now we are saying to every community member who might be impacted, 1 in 3 residents in Alameda County is an immigrant. So this is something that's impacting every community that we are in here, is to make sure that you have a safety plan, right? That you know your rights in advance, that you have a plan for your children in the event that you are impacted by ICE enforcement, who will pick them up, that they know the plan, that alternative caregivers are in on the plan, that you've got all your documents gathered. Make sure you've memorized the rapid response hotline phone number. Make sure you memorize your own phone number and a safe trusted community member's phone number, and have all of that together and be ready and be prepared. If you think that you may be a target of potential ICE enforcement, or you have an upcoming ICE check-in or hearing scheduled, please do call your local county rapid response hotline. We can offer accompaniment services, legal consultations, potential legal representation, but you want to make sure that you have done everything you can to be prepared and to assess your own personal and individual risk before taking actions.
DHS appears to be pointing the finger at the person who was the target of the operation for essentially bringing the chaos to the school neighborhood. Do you see any validity in that concern?
No, I think I would have to disagree. I think so. In speaking with folks who were on the ground there in the community, in the neighborhood, they saw the DHS vehicles in the neighborhood starting very early in the morning, parked near the school. So even school staff were seeing these vehicles. So I think Homeland Security came to that school site and did not enter the school and was not targeting the school site, but was so nearby
that it was, created confusion and, was very, very close in proximity to drop-off time as well. And so when you're doing this kind of, militarized activity in a neighborhood close to a school, you are inviting this kind of chaos.
Kind of created enough heat for it to reach inside the classroom, if you will. OUSD made a point of telling parents not to come to the school to get their children. What should parents in a situation like this do?
Yes, so I think OUSD has done a really great job in preparing their staff and their parents and in training, and they implemented their protocols for safe site protocols and lockdowns yesterday, and I think everything went as it should have, right? Parents were notified in a timely manner so that they could make choices whether they wanted to be in the area or not, right, and assess their individual risk, and were assured in a timely manner that kids were safe, that no agents had entered the school site, et cetera. So I do think OUSD did a really great job yesterday in communicating with parents and in coordinating with local leaders and with rapid response networks and community members.
Did you get calls about what happened yesterday?
Absolutely. We started getting calls very early in the morning, and even when the situation was resolved, we continued to see an increase in high volume and calls throughout the day because folks didn't know what's next, right? Like we can say that this particular targeted enforcement seems to have abated, but however, folks still didn't know where will the next site be, and that is kind of just the predicament that we're in right now, is folks are just waiting for the ball to drop and where will the next sweep or raid or new tactic take place for enforcement.
All right, Monique Berlanga from Centro Legal de la Raza, thank you for coming back to the situation, to the newsroom to discuss the situation yesterday. Thank you again. Andre?
All right. Well, the governor of Illinois met the Illinois-born Pope Leo during a visit to the Vatican. The pontiff was born in Chicago and grew up in South Dalton. He spoke with the governor about immigration enforcement concerns under the Trump administration's heightened crackdown. The Holy Father also supported statements made by Catholic bishops recently on immigration. They publicly condemned the immigration enforcement push and urged Americans to treat immigrants humanely.
I appreciate very much what the bishops have said. I think it's a very important statement. I would invite especially all Catholics, but people of goodwill, to listen carefully to what they said. I think we have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives.
The governor also officially invited Pope Leo to visit Illinois. Worried about holiday debt? We talk with an expert about how to take control of your credit as shopping season cranks up.
KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive is well underway, and especially on cold, rainy days like this, you know the importance of making sure everyone stays warm this winter. If you're able to donate a new or gently worn coat, scan the QR code on your screen or head to KTVU.com for a list of participating drop-off locations. Our One Warm Coat Drive runs until December 14th. Earlier this morning, San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan announced she's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat in the House. Pelosi's been representing District 11 for nearly 4 decades. She announced she'll retire at the end of her term earlier this month. Supervisor Chan says her 2 decades in public service and work as the Budget Committee chair on the Board of Supervisors give her the experience and skills needed for the position. She says she's ready to handle President Trump's attacks on immigrants, the LGBTQ community, people of color, and the working class.
Well, KTVU sat down with Tom Steyer, a billionaire philanthropist and political activist who just announced he is running for governor of California. We talked to him about what he thinks makes him stand out from other candidates.
I've taken on the oil companies, the tobacco companies. I've taken on the out-of-state companies who weren't paying their fair share of taxes. When the legislature couldn't get it done, I got it done through propositions and put billions of dollars into education and healthcare in this state for Californians without charging them a nickel.
He's also a social activist who has spent millions of his own money on efforts surrounding voter turnout, the Trump impeachment, tobacco industry accountability, and most recently, Prop 50.
Sense of kind of positioning himself as the everyman. He's the everyman billionaire, that he's not going to be able to shake that. Whether or not that kind of sticks as a positive or negative, he's going to try to pitch it as I'm the outsider. And that's a classic thing for someone who doesn't have experience.
Steyer says his top priority would be building 1 million affordable homes. On education, he says he would increase investment in public schools. Well, with Black Friday just days away, today we're diving into strategies to strengthen your financial stability and plan for the holiday shopping season. Joining us is Margaret Poe, Head of Consumer Credit Education at TransUnion. Margaret, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so Margaret, the first thing, and some of these are pretty well known, but it always bears repeating at this time of the year, is set a spending limit and do not make that shopping list until you have set that spending limit. Talk to us a little bit about what people should do, with those credit cards before they start swiping.
Yeah, it's really smart. And everybody knows that the best laid plans, they have a way to go their own way. But it's important to try to start off with a good plan, what you're going to spend, and then be tracking your budget as the month goes on. We also really recommend that you check your credit report before we get too deep into the holiday shopping season, so you know exactly where you stand, check your credit score, see where you're at. That can help you kind of keep tabs on everything as you go into the holidays.
And, one stat that I was reading recently was if you have multiple credit cards, to use those different credit cards so you don't hit a limit on one particular credit card, which could get you a ding on your credit score. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so there are a couple key factors that really impact your score. The first one is whether you pay your payments on time. It is really critical that you make at least the minimum payment on your credit cards every month on time. Just one missed payment can really have a pretty big impact on your score. But the second factor is around utilization, and that's to the point that you're mentioning. If you use too far up to the limit on your credit card, that can really have a negative impact on your credit too. In general, we recommend that you use up to 30% of your overall credit, your total credit available to you. And if you can use even less than that, it'll probably have a better impact on your score.
And another thing, since we're on the subject of credit cards here, is to not go after those new offers. I get, credit card offers all day, every day in my mailbox. Every time you go to the mailbox, you get more credit card offers. But what should you avoid doing at this time of year when you get all those offers in the mail?
Yeah, it can be super enticing. I know you get these offers and, there are points, there are miles, there are a lot of benefits to them. A new credit card can be a good tool for you, but you have to make sure that you're thinking about it strategically. And every time that you do apply for a credit card, you'll get a hard inquiry on your credit report. It'll show up in your credit report, and typically it'll bring your score down a little bit. If that new access to credit is helpful to you and necessary, then it's probably worth doing. It does help increase your total available credit. But if you're applying for credit too frequently, then you have a lot of hard inquiries that can really bring your score down. So the point is, apply for credit, access credit when you need it, but be diligent about it and don't go too far.
All right, so since we're going to be out, a lot of people are going to be shopping. They're going to be on different websites, purchasing items for the holidays here. What do you recommend people do to protect themselves against scams and fraud that can turn up this time of the year?
Yeah, it's important to really be on guard, whether it is texts that you get that might be suspicious, emails, even someone on the street. Like, just make sure that you're really being cautious and you're not handing over any of your personal information, your credit card information, unless you're really confident. If someone calls you and asks for your financial information, decline, look up the contact information for whoever said they were calling you, if it's your bank or whatever, and call them directly based on their real contact information to check. So it's just important to be on the lookout. If anything seems suspicious, take a second, check it out before you do anything.
All right, good reminders in the holiday season when we're going to be tapping, swiping, using our phones and all that to pay for everything on our cards. Margaret Poe, head of consumer credit education at TransUnion. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
You about to do a hit?
All right, I'll take it from here. Silence is golden sometimes, but not right now. But we'll go for it here. We do have our system moving through east and south into Santa Cruz area now, Santa Clara Valley. It looks like this could put our observer Chris Henry's Morgan Hill's second wettest November ever, and he's been there for a long time. So if you think, man, this has been a wet November, it has. 50s on the tips. They haven't budged all morning. Mount Davidson and Castro Valley, both with over a half-inch of rain. Berkeley and Oakland, 41 100s and 41 100s. The front moving out, but the upper low is not. It's still up there. And don't ever trust a low until it's east of Tahoe or south towards Southern California. And it won't be. It'll be over us later today. You can blame it on the rain. There's still some moving through. Cloudy skies, if not rain, drizzle maybe. Scattered showers, I though think will pick up a little later today. And it's going to be another cool day with upper 50s and low 60s, you guys.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Your brain in the morning is reportedly not the same at night. When you join us on the 9, why that tired, foggy moment might actually be the perfect time to learn something new. With the busy holiday travel peak just around the corner, the Transportation Department is launching a new campaign to reduce stress on planes. Videos of passengers having meltdowns and physically fighting others at airports across the country, they've gone viral, and now federal officials are asking for help getting it to stop. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is asking people to be courteous to fellow passengers, to say please and thank you to flight crews, to dress with respect, and to lend a hand to those who could use it.
Everybody should have manners. Everybody should. That's basic.
Well, we should be nice. So I told my daughter, you get more with sugar than you do with salt.
I think it's great. You know, I feel like that's just common courtesy. It's just human decency.
Well, Duffy said there's been a 400% increase in outbursts on planes since 2019, and 1 in 5 flight attendants report experiencing physical incidents. 6 Bay Area restaurants have made Open Table's top 100 list, including one in Oakland. And while the Bay Area has been named its several top-rated lists decided by food critics, the list is different because it's based on diners' reviews. Topping the list with 5-star reviews is Sun Moon, Oakland's Michelin-rated restaurant. In San Francisco, Gary Danko, House of Prime Rib, The Progress, and Kokari restaurant made that list as well. In the North Bay Healdsburg, 3 Michelin star rated restaurants, Single Thread, made that list.
Meanwhile, new data gathered by Tipping Point Community shows a troubling economic picture. The anti-poverty nonprofit was started by now San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie long before he was voted into office. Numbers show in 2023, the poverty rate spiked, with an additional 245,000 Bay Area residents losing their economic footing and falling into poverty. Tipping Point said the Bay Area is at an inflection point, with high prices and reductions in the security safety net at the federal level happening at the same time.
Given those substantial cuts, we anticipate these numbers will only worsen over the next few years, deepening poverty across the Bay Area.
Tipping Point data show Black, Latino, and Asian poverty rates are skyrocketing. The city of San Francisco has the highest poverty rate in the Bay Area at 17.5%. The 49ers return to the practice field today to prepare for the next Monday night game against the Carolina Panthers. Niners are signing kicker Matt Gay to their practice squad. He was just cut by the Washington Commanders early this week. Starter Eddie Pinheiro is dealing with a hamstring injury, will likely miss a game or two in a whole 7-degree situation. We'll note the Commanders released Gay and signed Jake Moody, the kicker the Niners selected in the 3rd round of the 2023 draft, who was then cut due to inconsistent performance. The Warriors will return to Chase Center tomorrow after a 6-game road trip. Last night, Golden State was severely shorthanded in Miami, playing without 5 of their best players due to injuries and illness. Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Al Horford were all out of the lineup. Despite a massive 20-4 deficit to start the game, the Warriors fought back, even took a brief lead in the 3rd quarter. Brandon Podziemski led the team with 20 points. The Heat forced 23 turnovers, pulled away late. Miami went on to beat Golden State 110-96.
Several Tahoe ski resorts may not open in time for Thanksgiving. That's a week from today. Heavenly shared this video from its grounds. Both Heavenly and North Star will not open for skiers and boarders as expected tomorrow. And the resorts have not set new dates to open yet. But Heavenly's gondola is up and running for sightseers. The Village at North Star will open its ice rink starting tomorrow. Kirkwood says it expects to open for the season on December 5th. A new survey by the Public Policy Institute of California finds nearly 1 in 3 Californians have cut back on food to save money over the past year. Reasons include rising food prices, tariffs, and now delayed SNAP benefits. The survey also found that almost 70% of Californians expect the state to face serious economic challenges over the next year, even as 3/4 are at least somewhat satisfied with their household's financial situation.
Walmart is raising its annual profit forecast this holiday season. The world's largest retailer once again exceeded Wall Street expectations for both sales and profits. Walmart credits its recent success to persistent inflation, which is driving more people to its stores looking to save money. Walmart reports that even higher income households are increasingly focused on saving money, especially groceries, and thus heading into Walmart stores. A quick break. We'll be right back as we give you a live look outside the Oakland Alameda Estuary on this quiet, cool, drizzly Thursday morning. Mornings on 2 to 9 starts in just 60 seconds.
A longtime San Francisco supervisor stepping into one of the city's most powerful political battles, the House seat held by Nancy Pelosi for nearly 4 decades. Why Supervisor Connie Chan says her experience, upbringing, and her fight for the city are fueling her campaign.
Then the Thanksgiving travel rush is gearing up to break records. But beneath the surge, a shift many aren't talking about. How the fallout from the government shutdown is expected to shape holiday plans.
And speaking of travel, a major change could be coming to airport security, and it may cost you. The new proposal to charge travelers who show up unprepared.
Live from Chat London Square, this is Mornings on 2, the 9.
Today's Thursday, November 20th, and we're looking live at Oakland with cloudy skies in the background. The back of this front is moving through, and we should have better weather in the next coming days. We're going to have our man Steve talk about that in just a bit. Your brain may actually learn best when you're tired. Researchers in Japan looked at how the brain reacts at different times of the day, finding the sweet spot in rats. That's where they did it on. But they said it happened right before sunrise when they were worn out from being active all night. Scientists say that's when brains were the most ready to turn new information into long-term memories, even though they aren't as alert. And I can testify to this. It just reminds me of college. Sometimes you pull the all-nighter, and it actually helped. People say, oh, no, you need to get your sleep and be fresh for the test.
But you were just learning for the test, and then as soon as the test was over, you forgot it.
Some of the stuff I still remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, those all-nighters never worked for me. They were a desperation move.
Yeah, I certainly would agree with that. I was not that smart to retain all that information, for sure.
Right.
I mean, if it were that easy, I'd be in much better shape in the mornings.
Right.
We get up pretty early,
We do.
feeling it. So maybe I might try to learn a new language in the morning when I'm tired.
Oh, wow. That was something.
No, I won't do that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, just getting to work safe and dry when it's like slick outside like it was today. I mean, Steve Paulson, for all of those of us who come in the dark overnight hours, we really got more rain than what, the late birds are getting right now.
What?
Steve.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was taking a nap there.
Come on now.
Trying to get smarter. All right. Yes, that is correct. We did have more rain in the morning. We're not done, though. I think there's a little more on the old pipeline here. Mount Davidson and Castro Valley, usually I don't mention them as the most rain. It's, usually Cazadero or Mount Tamalpais or somewhere in the Santa Cruz Mountains. That was not the case today. Berkeley with 44 100s and Oakland with 41 100s. There may be some that tick in a little higher after we get rid of this system, but it's still generating some down south. 47 100s at Mount Tamalpais, Marin County, Woodacre, San Rafael, Mill Valley, and Novato, all with 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of rain. But other locations did quite well on a little different twist this time. Union City, Morgan Hill, Hayward, San Jose, Palo Alto, Los Gatos, Daly City, and Millbrae with 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. Napa had 1/4 inch of rain. Sonoma only had 12 100. Santa Rosa only had like 1/10. And you can see it's much quieter to the north. A lot of low clouds, though, and even though it may not be raining, there's a lot of drizzle in there, mist and drizzle. But the main system is now San Jose, Santa Cruz Mountains, clearing almost into Gilroy and Hollister, and I think after that it'll be done. But the upper low is on the north coast, and we are not done with rain yet. This will swing in later today, and I think pick up some activity by this afternoon tonight. 50s on the temps here. Everyone's within a degree or two. 30s up in the mountains. They are getting snow up there. I know Blue Canyon's had snow. Central Sierra Snow Labs picked up a couple inches of snow. Snowing at South Lake Tahoe, Truckee. So if we can get 1 to 6, we'll say that's a good thing because they've been waiting on it. But once the upper low comes in, it's up here. It's up yonder here. And it'll move right over us by late this evening tonight and then be in Southern California by tomorrow, which I think will give us rapid clearing and a breezy day on Friday. But then it does look dry until around the 29th. Forecast models are really kind of tooting their horn saying, hey, something's developing, but not until then. So for the weekend and into early next week, probably all of next week, it does look dry. But again, not much brewing right here, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon. A stretch of dry weather is long overdue. We've had a rainy November. Blame it on the rain. System's moving out. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers later. Not a very warm day. Upper 50s to low 60s. Tomorrow we'll kick it out. The breeze will pick up. Then we'll settle in for what looks to be about 7 days of dry weather, you guys.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. New this morning, San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan announced she is running for Nancy Pelosi's congressional seat. KTVU's Amber Lee sat down with Chan to talk about her decision to run and why she's ready to take on a bigger role on the political stage.
When did you decide to run?
You know, when Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi decided not to seek for re-election, that's when we decided.
I met with San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan at Land's End in the Richmond district, which she represents. She's now running for the District 11 congressional seat Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi held for nearly 4 decades. Chan says her 2 decades in public service and her work as the Budget Committee chair on the Board of Supervisors give her the experience and skills to fight against President Donald Trump's attacks on immigrants, the LGBTQ community, people of color, and the working class.
We are strategic, we're thoughtful, we can maneuver very difficult political terrain and still deliver resources that San Francisco deserves.
Chan is an immigrant. She came to the United States from Hong Kong when she was 13.
I grew up with my single mom and a younger brother in a 1-bedroom apartment in Chinatown.
Chan launched her campaign with this video released Thursday morning. She tells me her priorities include making sure San Francisco remains a sanctuary city and that the city will be affordable for everyone, not just the wealthy.
We need to fight for those resources to make San Francisco better and more support. And that also means health care, education, as well as fair wage for our workers.
Chan faces at least 2 other candidates, California State Senator Scott Wiener and Shoykat Chakrabarti, former chief of staff to Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Someone was to ask you, why should I vote for you, Connie Chan? What would you say?
I would say that not only that I represent San Francisco values, I can deliver for San Francisco. San Francisco needs a fighter and defender of our values, but also needs someone that be pragmatic and having a strategic approach.
Chan has served as a legislative aide to former supervisors Aaron Peskin and Sophie Maxwell. Chan worked for Kamala Harris when Harris was San Francisco District Attorney as a victim's advocate for the Asian community. She is on her 2nd term as District 1 supervisor. Pelosi endorsed Chan in her current role.
Have you spoken with Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi about you running for her seat?
Look, we have every intention to earn her endorsement, and I'm going to work hard towards that.
If elected, Chan would be the first Asian American to represent San Francisco in Congress. In San Francisco, Amber Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Bay Area soccer fans are gearing up for the championship game of the National Women's Soccer League this weekend in San Jose. As part of the excitement surrounding the games, organizers have brought in an unusual floating soccer field. KTVU's Allie Rasmus joins us live from Pier 50. Now, Allie, I have a question. Earlier, you said you were trying to get your sea legs. Is that thing moving around?
It is. It is. I don't know if you can tell. It's moving ever so slightly because it's docked at Pier 50, and right next to it, there's other work going on here at this pier. So while this crane here, which is not related to this pitch, is doing some of their work, we are kind of bobbing a little bit ever so slightly back and forth on this floating pitch. Now, this is not a full-size pitch. It's 110 feet by 35 feet, but this is all part of the fanfare leading up to the National Women's Soccer League Championship game that's happening in the Bay Area this weekend. And earlier this week, this floating pitch made its way under the Golden Gate Bridge, and the National Women's Soccer League tweeted out these pictures kind of showcasing the event and all the excitement leading up to the big game. It is a Bay Area soccer milestone. This is the first time in league history a National Women's Soccer League Championship match will be played at PayPal Park. The teams won't be playing on this field, obviously. They'll be playing in San Jose, but the number 2 seed, the Washington Spirit, will be taking on number 8 seed, Gotham FC. That's Saturday at 5 o'clock. So no Bay Area teams, unfortunately, but it still should be a pretty exciting game to watch. And here to tell us more about all the excitement leading up to it is Brendan Hannon. He's a managing partner at Skylark. You're the organization that came up with this idea for the floating pitch. And why a floating pitch? What was the genesis of that?
You know, NWSL wanted to go big. This is a grand occasion for a league on the rise. And so what's bigger than creating North America's only floating soccer pitch and putting it under the Golden Gate Bridge ahead of the 2025 NWSL Championship presented by Google Pixel, taking place Saturday at PayPal Park.
And we've been talking about the growing popularity of women's soccer and women's sports in general, and just the Bay Area as a sports town.
I mean, the Bay Area is a world-class sports town, and soccer in this country continues to be on the rise. Women's soccer and NWSL continues to grow, continues to be a league of choice. Some of the best players in the world play here. It's an environment that's all about inclusivity, availability, accessibility, and showcasing what the athletes are able to do, and the continued growth of the sport in North America. Watch out.
I know.
We're moving.
We're really,
So I think moments like these continue to highlight the growth of the league and the growth of soccer in North America.
Now, I know this isn't open to the public, but there are some lucky Bay Area kids who will get a chance to play here on this floating pitch.
Community is everything, especially to NWSL, and the opportunity to have a local group come out today. The San Francisco chapter of Soccer Without Borders will be hosting a practice this afternoon. So kids will be able to come out, get a few shots, and play on this incredible floating field that has all been created in promotion of Saturday's big game.
All right, Brendan Hannon, thanks for speaking with us, talking about the floating soccer pitch that is out at Pier 50 where we are, and looks like the weather should be improving a little bit, hopefully just in time for that the youth chapter of the Soccer Without Borders group here in San Francisco, who will be practicing on this pitch later today. Allie Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News. Back to you guys.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Across the Bay here, Oakland Unified is focusing on 3 critical issues: fears of immigration enforcement, a $100 million deficit, and on-campus violence. Next on the 9, what families and teachers at one of the Bay Area's biggest school districts are demanding, and how OUSD could make major budget cuts without closing schools. Then the DOJ expected to release a trove of documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein, what could be included and what will likely be withheld. We are getting a clearer picture of what sparked fear and chaos in the neighborhood around 1 West Oakland Elementary School yesterday morning. One man says federal agents confronted him at gunpoint.
I was feeling like intimidated, and I feeling like they tried to shoot me. I escaped and run. and not crash my car.
The man crashed his car near 31st and West Street. Says agents caught up with him but didn't make an arrest. Hoover Elementary and a preschool went into what's called a secure school protocol. Teachers, union representatives, and others arrived on the campus.
We will stand up against this type of fascist engagement in our city. That's what Oakland is known for. And so we're just getting started.
Department of Homeland Security now says ICE did not target Hoover Elementary or go on school grounds. Says agents were conducting targeted immigration enforcement against a man who's in the country illegally and had been arrested multiple times for battery, DUI, and possession of a controlled substance.
The meeting of the Oakland Unified School District addressed both the ICE activity and a $100 million budget deficit. The meeting and the ICE activity also comes after a violent week on school campuses in Oakland. Last Wednesday, a student at Skyline High School was shot but survived. And then on Thursday, Coach John Beam was shot and killed at Oakland's Laney College. At the Oakland School Board meeting, board members and the teachers union talked about safety concerns after the recent campus shooting and the ICE activity.
Hundreds of community allies showed up to ensure that our schools remained safe and our community was supported. So I want to just say, as OEA president, that immigrants are welcome here and ICE needs to get out of Oakland.
Before the school board meeting, a parent who did not want to be shown on camera said student safety is his top priority.
They're going to be protected, everything. Make it easy for everyone to understand what the process is of how the kids are going to get to school, how they're going to leave, what they're going to do after or even before.
The Oakland District also has a huge budget deficit and has to cut spending by $100 million over the next 2 years. Two budget options were proposed by the school board. Both would keep all schools open, but would reduce the size of the school district's central administrative office. Also proposed reducing things like cleaning services and cutting programs for teacher development and support programs.
President Trump signed legislation ordering the Justice Department to publicly release files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump made the announcement on Truth Social. The bill received overwhelmingly bipartisan support this week from lawmakers in both chambers. President Trump had been friends with Epstein, but has consistently said he did not know of his crimes and had cut ties with him a long time ago. At the president's urging, Attorney General Pam Bondi recently ordered a new investigation into some high-profile Democrats and their ties with Epstein.
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information.
AG Bondi would not say what kind of new information. It's not clear how the investigation will affect the release of the files under the bill signed by President Trump. The Justice Department will have to release all the documents within 30 days.
There are a lot of components to this. There are a lot of qualifiers to this. Nonetheless, it's an important development, but it's not necessarily the end of this fight about what's in those files and what people will actually see because of how DOJ will handle this.
Although redactions will be included in the files, including those that protect victims, other information cannot be withheld because of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity.
In a significant political moment, President Donald Trump and New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani are set to hold their first face-to-face meeting in the Oval Office. The long-anticipated meeting comes just weeks after Mamdani's victory and marks the beginning of what observers anticipate will be a difficult yet vital governing relationship. Fox's Rich Edson has the latest from Washington, D.C.
I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so.
New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani is heading to Washington Friday. President Trump confirming the two will meet face-to-face, posting on Truth Social, quote, "Communist Mayor of New York City Zohran Kwame Mamdani has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow." It was just 2 weeks ago that Mamdani had a direct message for the president.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Mamdani has ripped the Trump administration's deportations and threats to cut federal funding to New York City. The president has said Mamdani and democratic socialism will destroy the city, even endorsing Mamdani's opponent, Andrew Cuomo. This summer, President Trump was asked what he'd do if Mamdani defied ICE and refused to allow agents to arrest criminal aliens in New York City.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look,
We don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation.
Mamdani says he wants to discuss with the president an issue that even Trump supporters in New York told them they're concerned about, the cost of living. At the White House, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Well, from coast to coast, Americans are leaving more at the table than ever before. Coming up in Mornings on to the 9, while some regions have set the bar higher when it comes to tipping, others aren't even coming close. Where California diners stand on that list. Plus,
a new jobs report brings welcome news for the labor market, but overall, polls show Americans aren't happy with the president's handling of the economy. I'm Rebecca Castor with the details coming up.
The long overdue September jobs report is out this morning, and while the data is stale, it shows a resilient job market amid tariffs and inflation. Fox's Rebecca Castor has details.
After nearly a 7-week delay due to the government shutdown, the September jobs report brought welcome news. The U.S. added 119,000 jobs, more than double the estimate, but still below 2024's monthly average of 168,000 jobs added. Unemployment ticked up slightly to 4.4%.
This is a solid report for the American people, solid report for job growth.
But the report gives a mixed picture. August numbers were revised down to show the economy actually lost 4,000 jobs.
And I think one of the major takeaways from the government shutdown is it really reinforced the fact that private enterprise is better than the government at pretty much everything, which includes tallying jobs numbers.
While September's report is a positive redirection, a recent Fox News poll shows most Americans aren't happy with the economy. 76% of voters view it negatively, and 62% blame President Trump.
Basically, until the price level actually comes down, consumers aren't going to feel any better in their pocketbooks.
That could be why the president has been highlighting his administration's economic accomplishments in recent speeches.
We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using, affordability.
But Democrats point out the price of groceries, rent, and health care is still high.
Americans are fed up with high costs, and they need a lifeline.
The administration does not plan to release an October jobs report because statisticians were furloughed during the shutdown. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Well, holiday season can be expensive, especially when it comes to gift giving. Many shoppers turning to credit cards to make sure everyone gets a gift, but this is when scammers are more likely to target credit card users. The cost of living and groceries is going up, so scammers are likely extra desperate heading into the holiday shopping season. Be cautious of emails, texts, and even people on the streets during this time inquiring about credit cards.
If someone calls you and asks for your financial information, decline, look up the contact information for whoever said they were calling you, if it's your bank or whatever, and call them directly based on their real contact information to check.
As a reminder, it's critical to make at least a minimum payment on your credit cards on time every month. Just one missed payment could really hurt your score. Also, only try to use about 30% of your credit or less, because utilization can also play a role in credit scoring.
A recent survey shows nearly 1 in 3 Americans expects to pick up some debt this holiday season. Financial strain forcing more families to rely on credit to pay for gifts and celebrations. Many people say they feel intense social and emotional pressure and say they would take on debt to help ensure a happy holiday for their loved ones.
Travel is on board to break records this Thanksgiving holiday, but safety and air traffic concerns are causing headaches for many families. Coming up on Mornings on 2 to 9, how travelers are adjusting plans as airports and highways are bracing for the busiest season in years. And speaking of travel, from sunny Arizona to historic Savannah and even exotic Saudi Arabia, we'll talk to a travel expert about the trips you need to put on your 2026 travel radar.
Welcome back to the 9, taking a live look outside the East Shore Freeway. Still some travel happening there on 80, back and forth. It's still a cool gray day, but boy, if you left the house at like 4 a.m., you were driving through rain, and we're getting drier and drier as we move through this day. So in this case, the late bird got the worm. A new study examines how tipping culture varies around the country. It reveals people are tipping more on average at restaurants compared to last year. California, though, was found to be home to the worst tippers in the country, according to a Restaurant Trends report. On average, Californians tip about 17%. Delaware led the nation. People there tipping a little more than 21% on average. New Hampshire, West Virginia, and Indiana also found to be states where people tip well. So this morning we've been asking about your tipping habits. We see more than half of you fall in that 15 to 20% range. The next largest group is 20% or more. 15% tip 15% or less. You can make these numbers change to reflect your habits. Scan the QR code at the top right of your screen or head out to ktvu.com/vote.
Did a much better job than I did last hour on that.
Oh, I thought
all the
about it.
percentages.
I planned it out. Yeah, no. So on average, I mean, you and I were kind of joking. 100 years ago, I remember 10% was sort of the the starting point or the basic. Yeah, now I mean, 10% feels cheap now.
And it does feel cheap, and the fact that we're not high up on the list, I'm not going to throw any shade, especially for those living in the Bay Area because it's
so expensive, right? It's like it's
so I can't even say anything, even though West Virginia is tipping more than we are.
Right.
But it's not as expensive to live in West Virginia, although. We are the 5th largest economy in the world, apparently.
I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but really standard now is 20%.
Yes.
So why is it? I see 25 now. I've seen 35.
You can do if someone gives you great service, you can certainly tip more.
It's
but
not
I mean,
custom, bro. It's another button up there.
I know.
You seen this too?
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're trying to slip it in.
I've seen it.
I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there.
35's a big
Be
number.
careful. It's coming.
Yep.
Is what I'm warning y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, yeah. Just letting you know. It's there.
All right, we're gonna step away from that and go to this for a second. We are actually 1 week. God, 1 week from Thanksgiving. I was just checking my brain there. AAA's travel this year is expected to reach a record, but according to a new poll, many people changed their plans because of the government shutdown. KTVU's Aaron Dickens is live here. He has more. Hey, Aaron.
I know it's super hard to believe, right? But once you're here at the airport, you can really feel that Thanksgiving travel. 120,000 people expected to come through SFO just today. Take a look behind me. You could say it's been a steady flow all morning, and San Francisco, we're told, continues to make a comeback this year. Officials say 160,000 people are expected at SFO tomorrow on November 21st. And then 6.3 million travelers are expected at the airport between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. Now, officials say that is a 4% increase from last year. According to that new poll that we're talking about, the impact of the government shutdown is still lingering. 41% of Thanksgiving travelers have rescheduled or adjusted their plans. 40% of Christmas travelers have done the same thing. And 48% of Americans concerned about flying due to safety reasons. And this poll is from the Points Guy.
I think that there's a lot of concern out there about air travel safety because of the shortage of air traffic controllers, something that was ended by the shutdown. In fact, it's just as bad, if not worse, and it has been for the past several years. It's been an ongoing concern. I think you're still going to see air traffic control shortages for the next few years at least.
I try not to think about that. Yeah, but no, I feel like air travel is safer than driving cars, so hopefully it stays that way.
My daughter got stuck. She couldn't get out, so it's definitely on our minds.
Yeah, so, it is something that a lot of people are concerned about, but they're happy to be traveling to visit their families across the U.S. and all over the world. Aaron Dickens, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Aaron, thank you. So if you don't have a real ID or a passport, you could soon face a fee when you're traveling. Travelers would also be required to have their identity verified on a new biometric kiosk system before they can move on in the security lane. The fee would allow passengers to access TSA checkpoints for 10 days before facing another charge.
I understand it, and I do love that they did give some of the TSA agents bonuses for showing up, and I really think that's remarkable. So if that money goes to them, to better their lives and give them more money for their livelihood, I'm okay with that. If it's really just another way to get more money and move it around, that would be disheartening.
It's not clear when the new system or the fee could roll out. There is public comment on the proposed change.
Well, the time to start planning your 2026 adventures is now. Travelzoo has just released its best bets list of the top destinations for Americans in the new year. So let's delve into it by welcoming Gabe Sagley, Travelzoo's senior editor. Gabe.
Andre,
thank you so much for joining us.
Always great to see you in person, my friend.
Man, it is nice to see you in person, and it's also nice to see you in those really nice locations around the world. But we get to see you here now. And so you narrowed down a list to 10 hot spots for next year. How'd you go about narrowing down that list?
So this begins as a Travelzoo nomination extravaganza, dozens of destinations. We look at things like landmark events, big anniversary dates, maybe new infrastructure, new flights that will make getting to that destination a bit easier. Sustainability is always a factor, and then we put that into the creative machine, and out come 10 destinations, 4 domestic, 6 international for 2026. I think is a pretty nice mix.
All right, so let's begin domestically with Arizona.
Yes.
What do you got there? Why do you recommend it?
Very excited about Arizona. It's a neighbor of ours, but it's all about the centennial of Route 66. If you are a road tripper like me, it's hard to beat Route 66, turning 100 next year. This is, of course, a nostalgic symbol of Americana.
Yes.
The open road, freedom, spontaneity, independence, adventure. Now, the route runs from Chicago to L.A., 2,448 miles, but the 400 miles that run through Arizona considered the best preserved. Kitschy little towns and souvenir shops, some wonderful motels as well. You know, this is what gave rise to the concept of the motel to begin with.
Oh, and Route 66. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay, wow. Okay.
People needed a place to kind of rest their head and park their car as they made their way across the USA. So I think it's all about road tripping, Route 66 through Arizona in 2026.
I got to try that. You know, the only place I've been on Route 66 was Santa Monica Pier because it dead ends there. All right.
You got another 2,400 miles to go.
There's way much more to go. All right. Next up, we have a couple of other areas. Speaking of Route 66, Chicago. And we also have Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, a couple of great options there. So Chicago's our big city pick here. Starting line for Route 66. But this is really a cultural pick. Really a chock-full calendar in 2026 of cultural innovation.
Beginning,
awesome. With the Obama Presidential Center, which is opening up in the spring of 2026 there on the south side of Chicago, 19 acres, and just a bevy of consumer-focused experiences. That joins another dozen-plus museums across Chicago, 250 theaters. So from a cultural standpoint, this is a place that's tough to beat. Chicago is an urban mosaic of about 77 different neighborhoods, but it's really quite green at the same time. 600 parks across 8,800 acres. I love walking the riverfront, the sandy shores of Lake Michigan there, and the eating rivals, I think, what we have here in the Bay Area. More than 60 Michelin-recognized restaurants.
Wow, and take public transit. I always, when I get there, it's easy to do, get on the L train. So that's always good to do. Savannah, Georgia. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and then Savannah, Georgia. So this is our small town charm
This place, I have not been yet, but everyone I talk to loves going here.
Yeah, this is because time has stood still in Savannah. This was actually America's very first planned city back in 1733. First time that the U.S. used a strict blueprint to erect a city. So easy to navigate, an amazing amount of charm. Some of those old inns and homes are still very much accessible there. A wonderful culinary culture. And here, the riverfront there in the Savannah River is just now being redevelopment there coming to an end. So a brand new set of hotels, destination businesses there. This riverfront used to be a pirate's playground back in the day. Today, a great spot to go kayaking, do a riverboat tour, take a dolphin excursion. Just a wonderful taste of, again, old Americana, Southern hospitality at its best.
That is a great way to put it there, especially in that part of the country. All right. Let's get outside of the U.S. and go international. You have an interesting name on this list. A country, by the way, that had not welcomed tourists until more recently.
Exactly right.
Yes, tell us about it.
So Saudi Arabia, this is the one destination that actually inspired a lot of conversation within the company. I'm very excited to have this on the list. Now, this obviously, it's a Muslim country, ancient traditions, and some strict norms, to be sure. But, as you mentioned, 2019 is when they first started welcoming international visitors, and they've got a plan in place called Saudi Vision to welcome 150 million visitors by the year 2030. They're going to be hosting the World Cup in 2034. So we're seeing a lot of these long-standing restrictions fall, a lot of barriers topple, and I think the carpet's now being rolled out to welcome international visitors in a very, very big way. A modern sort of revolution, if you will, across the country, in particular along the Red Sea. They're creating these luxury destination areas along the Red Sea that rival pretty much anything in the world. Again, a big big push to bring international visitors to Saudi Arabia.
And they've got some big historical sites out in the desert, too, that many people had not seen. And now they're finally opening them up. And so it's bringing a lot of visitors out there to see these destinations that people had been unable to see for a long, long time.
So the leading edge of a destination, I think, in the next decade will be much more commonplace, but this could be our chance in 2026 to really start getting in early. More flights being added here in the next
there are a lot of great little places opening up all along Saudi Arabia. I keep abreast of that. All right, let's go a little further north now. Finland, always getting some buzz here. Happiest country in the world. That part of the world, Scandinavia seems to be it. Finland, you found and put on this list.
Yeah,
Tell
listen,
us about it.
it's always the happiest country in the world when that World Happiness Report comes out every March. This was another cultural pick. The city of Oulu in the northwestern part of Finland is Europe's city of culture in 2026. So a lot of music, art, theatrical events happening throughout the year there in Oulu, Finland. This is also a place that has a fantastic conservation record. 41 national parks. They've got a composting and recycling initiative across the country with a goal of becoming carbon neutral as a nation by 2035. And wellness. The sauna is a cultural phenomenon there. There are as many saunas as there are people in Finland because it's a place you go into for mental and physical wellness, to connect with other people. If you go to Finland in 2026, I say do a sauna, and also an area where you can see these wonderful sort of bucket list experiences like the Northern Lights. And of course, it's home to Lapland, which is a buzz right now because that's home base for Santa Claus, as you know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I want to go check that place out. I heard the saunas are the real secret to the happiness there.
It's just so cleansing and so so great. Other destinations you'll find on the Travel Zoo website, they include Ghana, Northern Italy, Chile, my native country of Chile, and of course we've got Pennsylvania on the list as well because it's the 250th anniversary of the USA. An amazing amount of events happening across the state of Pennsylvania in 2026.
Wow, you got the job I want too, by the way. Gabe Sagley, always great to have you in. Thank you so much for coming in. And the recommendation as well. Coming up in Mornings on 2 to 9, Turkey Day is almost here, and the debates are heating up from the ultimate dish to the non-traditional foods. We're talking live with 99.7 Big Bay Mornings, Benny, Ellen, and Greg to see what's in and what's out. And KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive is underway, and you can help make sure people in need stay warm this winter. If you're able to donate a new or gently worn coat, scan the QR code on your screen or head to KTVU.com for a list of participating drop-off locations. The One Warm Coat Drive runs until December 14th.
Music City was the place to be for country music last night at this year's CMA Awards. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin is in Nashville this morning with a recap.
Country music's biggest night has brought us to Nashville, so we can bring you highlights from the 59th Annual CMA Awards.
Ever since I was a little girl, country music has been a huge part of my world. It was more than a genre. It's a way of life.
Host Lainey Wilson ran the show, the third woman to host solo following Dolly and Reba. She kicked things off singing with fellow stars including Miranda Lambert, Little Big Town Shaboozey, and Keith Urban. Wilson performed later on as part of the packed lineup. Among others rocking out with country fans were Chris Stapleton and Stapleton with Miranda Lambert, Megan Maroney, Shaboozey and Stephen Wilson Jr., Ella Langley, and Riley Green. Kenny Chesney performed a medley. Old Dominion sang some biggest hits, too.
Willie, if you're out there listening, 92 years old, you're still inspiring us to this day.
Vince Gill was the Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, with a tribute featuring Brandi Carlile and George Strait.
Brooks and Dunn!
Brooks and Dunn earned their 16th Vocal Duo of the Year award. The Red Clay Strays won Vocal Group. Single and Song of the Year went to Ella Langley and Riley Green for You Look Like You Love Me. Zach Top earned New Artist of the Year. Male Vocalist of the Year was Cody Johnson. And what a whirlwind for our host, Lainey. She took Album of the Year, her 4th Female Vocalist of the Year, and the top title of Entertainer of the Year.
Thank you to the fans. They just keep on making my dreams come true every single day.
Hats off to all the winners of this year's CMA Awards. In Nashville, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
With Thanksgiving just a week away, we want to talk about all things Turkey Day related, from the best Thanksgiving dish to non-traditional foods, and even the timing of when you should eat the dinner itself. Let's bring in Benny, Ellen, and Greg from 99.7 Now Big Bay Mornings. Good morning to you three. I'm sure we have strong opinions on this topic. When should you eat? At what time of the day?
It's non-negotiable, Sal. Between 2 and 3 p.m.
Got it.
2:30. We'll go 2:30.
Got it. I get you. That's what we do. And the reason we do that, crew, is because it's usually a big, heavy meal, and you don't want to be going to bed with stuff like that. With all that stuff, people tend to overeat, and, the turkey's going to make you sleepy, sort of, right? So 2 or 3 sounds good, but I'm sure not everyone agrees, right, Greg?
Well, Ellen has a different opinion. I would actually eat earlier. In my family, we eat at 11:30, but that's too early for most. Martha Stewart has the definitive answer. It's 2 p.m., so that's when you should eat if Martha Stewart says that it's right. But Ellen, she's eating at midnight, so...
Okay, let's not get crazy.
Midnight?
I wouldn't say midnight's out. No, not midnight. But I have to be realistic, too. My family, and to what time we get there and what we partake in and what we do. We don't eat until like 6 p.m. because, be realistic, we'll wake up, we'll meet up, we'll have like some conchas, like have something,
Right.
have something light for breakfast, but then we'll partake in like some mimosas or micheladas, finish cooking, hang out, chit chat a little bit. And by the time that everybody's there, like, let's be real, I think that the sun should be down for Thanksgiving dinner. So it's around 6 p.m. for me.
Yeah.
And I know that you say about, like, everyone goes to sleep early, like, you don't want to go to sleep with a full stomach, but it's Thanksgiving. We don't have work the next day.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's funny. It's evolved in my family from later. I come from a Latino family, later until earlier, just because as we get older. But now, what about non-traditional foods for this feast? Does it have to be turkey and all the traditional trimmings, or can you introduce something that is not, I don't know, whatever you want, as long as everyone likes it?
It absolutely has to be a traditional Thanksgiving meal because it's the one time a year that you can count on actually getting that. So it has to be that. Now, if you want to introduce new foods to The traditional stuff, I'm all cool with you bringing other stuff, but you better have the turkey, you better have the dressing, you better have the gravy and the mashed potatoes and the green bean casserole. After that, do whatever you want.
Got it. You can add but not subtract, right? Benny, how do you feel about this?
Exactly the same. Yeah, you got to have the staples. You can bring anything else, but you have to have the staples, because we were talking about this on the air earlier today, and we don't know the answer to this. But can you go to the grocery store year-round and buy a big turkey? I don't know.
Oh,
so,
I know. I know who knows the answer to that question. Gassia, I know you're not paying attention. Can you go to the grocery store, Gassia, and buy a turkey out of season?
I have never tried because I don't really like turkey.
See?
Okay. If she doesn't know, nobody knows. I don't know the answer to that question.
I will check. I'll get back to you in March.
I'll tell you, we asked this question on the air this morning, and some listeners did reach out. They said the same thing. You can get a turkey out of season, but in season you pay like 35 cents a pound. Out of season, you're paying anywhere from $3 to $5 a pound.
Oh my goodness, that's a
anyway,
big.
Point is, this is the guaranteed time that we'll have turkey. So let's have turkey.
Let's have turkey.
If you want to have tamales alongside, perfect.
All right. So
I
listen.
disagree.
The last question is a very important one. Some people don't look forward to Thanksgiving because there might be family members that come in and there might be some tension, people you don't see often, right? So do you keep your gatherings small with your usual crew, or sometimes are they big celebrations and you have to have that awkward conversation with an uncle or a cousin that you don't see often?
We're going to give that to Benny because Benny's actually hosting Thanksgiving today. He's going to have the whole family hanging out. So I don't know how he's handling it.
We have a relatively small family. So I think there's 12 of us, Sal, that'll be at the house next Thursday. So that's not huge, but I'm fine with, I'm fine if there are people that need a place to go on Thanksgiving. Absolutely invite them over. But I don't even know what it's like to have 50 people, 70 people. As you know, Greg growing up, he said some of his Thanksgivings, they were in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, we would have anywhere between 70 and 90 people, depending on the year. My mother is one of 13. My mother's one of 13, German Catholic, small German Catholic town. So what else did they have to do but have babies? And they just did that. And so we have a huge family. The good thing is most of the people in Texas at this event, they have different political leanings than I do and thoughts. But with 70 or 80 people, I could find 5.
That's right.
That I could at least just hang out with and get away from the crazy.
Got it. All right. So we're gonna put a hold on this conversation for about 10 minutes because you guys are going to join us again on Take Two mornings. So we'll see you guys in just a bit. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Al.
Bye.
And we'll see them in just about 10 minutes. Take Two is where we dive deeper into some of the stories. They come on right at 10 o'clock or 10:02 or whatever, and we'll continue this conversation. You can watch it on the Fox local app on your phone, smart TV, or you can find it at KTVU.com. And we are going to continue our conversation on Thanksgiving next year on the 9. The cost of a Turkey Day dinner is getting more expensive in California. We'll take a look at how much people across the state are expected to shell out. And it's closer to winter than summer, but we're already thinking about next year's zip trips. And this year we're doing something different. Instead of us picking the cities, we want to hear from you. Tell us why your hometown should be our next zip trip destination. Just scan the QR code and record a video or send a few photos telling us about your city, and we could choose it for our next year's zip trip lineup.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup draw is 15 days away, and we now know the top-seeded teams. The three hosts, USA, Mexico, and Canada, automatically placed in one pot. FIFA released its latest world rankings, and the top 9 nations will also be in pot 1. They're listed on your screen. They include top-ranked Spain, defending champion Argentina, as well as France, England, and Brazil. This should help increase the chances of the U.S. advancing in the tournament because the Americans will not face any of these top countries in the initial group stage of the World Cup. The draw will be held in Washington, D.C., December 5th. 42 of the 48 berths will be locked up. The final 6 participants are to be determined in March. A big win for South Bay music fans as San Jose's PayPal Park has now been approved to serve as a concert venue. The home of the Earthquakes in Bay FC can host up to 15 concerts every year. Local leaders, including San Jose's Mayor Matt Mahan, say the move will help bring more people and business to the area as it gets ready to host the Super Bowl and FIFA World Cup events.
Well, we have it all here, and I just don't think our residents should have to go to another city to see the best acts, the best performances in the world.
You know, I ride for kind of enjoyment, but you get all kinds of people from all around the country coming to events here.
Some neighbors have expressed concern over potential noise and traffic issues, prompting the city to approve the plan with stipulations. The city will monitor sound levels during the first 2 concerts and ensure compliance with the 11 p.m. curfew.
JCPenney was named this year's Black Friday champion in a recent shopping survey. According to the analysis done by Wallet Hub, the department store chain is offering the highest average discount among major U.S. retailers. JCPenney's overall average discount is calculated at a whopping 74%, far outpacing the competition. Kohl's and Macy's also posted strong average savings, coming in close to 45%. Amazon, Target, and Walmart all averaged less than 30%. Last on the list was Costco with an average discount of just 15%.
Too bad JCPenney doesn't sell turkeys because California preparing a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. They're going to be expected to pay more than people in most other states. The American Farm Bureau Federation released its annual Thanksgiving survey. It found in California the cost of an average Thanksgiving dinner for 10 guests is $71, significantly higher than the national average of $55, and that includes a frozen turkey, pumpkin pie mix, a vegetable tray, dinner rolls, stuffings, and all the other trimmings that go along with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go, $71 per person. It's going to be a lot.
Well, $71 for a meal for 10.
You have 10, yeah.
$71 a person, I better be at a restaurant.
Oh, no.
Okay, I am not washing dishes for $71 a person. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, these days, it's not even fancy.
Yeah, I know.
I take my son to In-N-Out after baseball. His order alone, $22.
Yeah.
Wait, In-N-Out?
In-N-Out. 2 double doubles, a shake, and
fries.
fries.
He's ordering 2 double doubles.
I mean, he's 15. He can eat
okay.
everything.
Well, I can eat, yeah.
Look, the 3 of us would share his meal.
Yeah.
Right. I remember being that age.
Yeah, exactly. All right, quick reminder, you can stream KTV News, scan the QR code, download the Fox Local app, and then join us next for Take 2 coming up on the Fox Local app and KTVU. If you're staying here on Channel 2, stick around for Sherry Shepard. We'll see you at noon.
Welcome to Take Two this morning. I am Sal Castaneda. I'm going to bring in my friends from 99.7 Now, Big Bay Mornings, Benny, Ellen, and Greg, already with the Christmas stockings adorning the set. Okay, guys, we were talking about Thanksgiving, and I want to say something to Ellen because I agree with you, Ellen. Growing up in a Latino family, we never ate at 2. And I used to make fun of, that's a white people thing, right? 2 o'clock, that's what we used to say, right? But then, I married a woman who is white. And, and then her family wants to eat at 2, and I started seeing the benefit of eating early. And that's because your digestion, especially as you get older, is better. Anyone agree with this?
I mean, they do, of course
Yeah.
they do, and I'm going to keep on fighting till the very end, Sal, if I'm being honest, that 6 o'clock is the ideal time. Now, you're right, it could be like a Latino thing because, like, we stay up pretty late. We stay up pretty
and we
late,
don't,
and
you know
we
what?
wake up kind
we
of
don't
late
get
on
there.
those days.
We don't get there. You have people rolling in at 4. You're not going to be eating at 2, right? I mean, you're waiting for that cousin or that person, right? And meanwhile, in Latino households, you're playing music and you're dancing. It's a whole different dynamic than just kind of like the tradition.
Are you saying that white people don't play music and dance?
They just don't know how to dance, but they play the music and try.
No, you want to hurry up and eat at 12 and 1.
No, I'll tell you, listen, I'll tell you this. I'm cool with eating at 6, everybody, but that's meal number 2. Maybe
Got
meal
it.
number
Okay,
3.
I get
wanna that's cool. I want to eat all day.
Yeah, well, I mean, come to my house, dude. Come to my family. I think you would all like my family gatherings. There are a lot of people, and you're eating all day. But the main meal is not going to be till 6 if we're doing it Latino style.
Exactly. Most Latinos, that is like that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. At least that's what I'm used to. That's what I've seen. My family, the people around me. That's just kind of what has worked. But no shade towards anyone that does.
No. That's the thing.
Each your own.
That's the thing. Like I've seen the benefit, and now I think I might be more on Greg and Benny's camp. 2 o'clock sounds like the perfect time. Now then, we talked about this on TV a little bit. You have to have turkey, right? At Thanksgiving without turkey, you just couldn't do it, could you?
No. Gotta have turkey. At least the bare minimum: turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing. Gotta have at least those 3 staples.
And cranberry sauce and all that. Yeah, I agree with you.
No.
There's always that one person there that wants it, but the rest of us, no go.
We were talking about how the price of, we're arguing a little bit in the studio here, how they say that the average price for a meal for 10 people is $71. Do you think that's true in the Bay Area, Greg?
It sounds pretty low. You mean like that $7 a person? That's $70 for 10?
Yeah, $71, I believe it's for 10 people. There it is. They put it up. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, God, I don't know.
I can get. I don't think that's too much. I think that's a $7 a person.
Yeah, but that's not happening. There's just no way.
I
that's
agree
real.
with you.
No,
I
but
think it's more expensive.
I'm looking at the screen here. A turkey for $20. It's not what I paid.
Yeah. So the Bay
Turkey
Area.
for $20? I don't know.
The Bay Area, I don't know, man. I don't know. One of our directors
I think it's more.
was saying, no way,
more
no
than that.
way. And other people are saying, yeah, if you're not buying super fancy stuff. I mean, that turkey, that frozen turkey is not like the super expensive organic one, but, let's just say you up
I
until...
did see, Sal, I saw that you can buy some turkeys on Amazon for $6 and $7 right now.
What?
So that's a good alternative.
That's cool, but will they get
Yes,
here by that day? I suppose that Amazon has everything figured out, Greg.
Delivered next day.
Wow. I'm telling you.
Delivered next day.
All right. How many of you, and I think I know the answer, how many of you are ready for Christmas? In other words, already have your stuff up? I mean, Thanksgiving seems to be forgotten. Benny, do you have your Christmas lights up yet at your house?
Christmas lights up, trees up, all decorations up. Music has been playing. Got cookies in the cookie jar. We're ready, Sal.
Yeah. Ready for Santa? You got the milk out and all that?
Nope.
All of it.
Yeah, mine too. I'm up.
All right, let me ask Ellen, who might be a little bit more of a traditionalist. Ellen, do you wait until after Thanksgiving to go with all that stuff?
I'm so happy you asked, Sal. Yes, everything that they've been saying this whole time, I'm completely opposite. Time-wise, 6 p.m., traditional foods. I think that it's whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to have on your table that means something to you and that brings you gratitude, that's for you. I also think that decorations in your household.
Christmas Eve.
No, not Christmas Eve. It should be Thanksgiving.
Jan 1.
One of my family's traditions is that on Thanksgiving, if I stay here in the Bay Area, is that we bring out all the Christmas decoration that day. And one of the activities is actually putting up the tree and putting up the decorations. Like, that's one of the things that we enjoy doing that day. And then you can enjoy them until Christmas Eve, Christmas, and, you know, and so on. So
that wouldn't work if you were doing it now. If you had your tree up now, that wouldn't work. I guess the last thing I think about, and I asked you guys about this on TV, and I'm going to ask you here, you guys all seem to have really good celebrations, and I do too. But it always comes up in the national media and the stories we do that Thanksgiving can be stressful for people who are going back to see their families or friends or whatever, and they get into conversations that are uncomfortable, right? About whether it's politics or, hey, when are you going to get married? Or when are you going to have that kid? Or whatever it is, right? It can be a stressful time. All of us are blessed, I guess. I love Thanksgiving. I love my family. We don't have any of that. Have you guys heard of that with any of your friends?
Well, I mean, I definitely have it in my family, my extended family, if we do the extended family. I mean, we're very different politically. You know what I do, Sal? I really practice on the plane there of woosah, calm down, don't engage, don't drink a lot. I have to coach myself. Just let it go. I sing that Frozen song, Let It Go, a lot. It doesn't always work. I would say 50% of the time, but I try for my mother's sake. My mother is not involved in any of drama. She likes peace. She wants everybody to be happy. So for my mother, Ginger, I try to be a good boy, Sal.
You've had her on the show, haven't you?
Oh, she's on every Friday.
Yeah. I remember thinking one time, well, I guess I wasn't working. I was just driving around. I heard her on the show. I'm thinking, this is genius radio content right here. When I heard your mom, and you guys were going back and forth, and you're talking about what it's like to, that's famous.
Yeah, she's Bay Area famous for sure.
Yeah. Does she ever, does she know that, because I remember having her conversation, does she actually know that a lot of people are listening to her?
She doesn't get it that much, but she's been on here 2 or 3 times, and we've taken her to things, to wineries where they've set up tastings for her, to different events where people are, and people show her so much love here, and they're so nice, and she always wants to, she's like, why do people want to take a picture with me? Why? Why? And I'm like, Mom, you're famous.
Yeah.
You don't know you're famous, but you're famous.
Yeah, people.
Ginger for you.
Yeah, people like, especially I find in media, anyone who helps people get through the morning becomes really kind of popular. And so your mom's in that category.
She is. You know, she's a blessing that we get to have her on all the time. I'm going to cherish those memories forever that we have her on. We're saving all of her audio.
Absolutely. All right. So listen, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Next week, we're not going to be doing this because you guys will all be with your families. So happy Thanksgiving. I look forward to when we get back. Then it's going to be on like Donkey Kong with Christmas.
That's right. Yes, and find out if I get in a fight with anybody.
You'll find out. You'll find out. Right.
Sal.
Benny, Ellen, and Greg, 99.7 now. I really look forward to these segments. We'll talk to you very soon. We'll talk to you after Thanksgiving.
We appreciate you, Sal.
All right, and Take Two will return right after this. Welcome back to Take Two. I am Sal Castaneda. Gasimeka Alien is back. And Gabe Saglier, Travel Zoo. We were just talking off the air.
A comfortable chair to sit on.
Made for you. Even matches your tie.
There you go.
We're just talking about Savannah, Georgia. One of the things you talked to Andre about. In general, we're going to this second talk about travel, though, and how a lot of people are traveling. I know you're going somewhere for the Thanksgiving week,
yes,
right?
We're not going as far as Savannah. I've never been. I heard you guys talking about how it's a lovely city.
Gorgeous, yeah. Timeless in many ways.
Yeah, I've had a little taste of the South. I lived and worked in Alabama.
Okay.
In Huntsville, Alabama, the northern part of that state. I was there for 2 years. And, of course, I grew up here. My first station was in Yuma, Arizona, a little tiny desert town. When I moved to Huntsville, Alabama, it was like on a whole other planet.
Yeah.
It was green. It was lush. The people are very forward and very friendly.
Yeah.
The food was completely different.
That's what we're talking about, the eating. Just the eating. You know, when I've been in the South, I love to dabble in that kind of food. Could I eat it on a regular basis? Probably not. It's very rich, very flavorful. It's delicious.
Very meat and carb heavy. Do you guys know what I mean when I throw out this idea of a meat and three restaurant? It's like a barbecue place. You go and you pick your meat, like brisket, chicken, whatever. So that's your meat, and then you get 3 vegetables, like green beans, whatever. And they'd always list macaroni and cheese as one of the vegetables.
One of the vegetables,
to have with your biscuit and your sweet tea.
Sure.
So
a little bit of that gravy.
Yeah.
No, the eating's fantastic. I mean, you see that when you go to New Orleans and places like that. But it's, you know, for those of us who live in California, where we're just, you know, a little bit more, just the way that we live life and
lighter,
eat generally.
fresher.
It's a little lighter and fresher. But it's great to go out there and get a little taste of that once in a while. And yeah, Savannah is a place we put on Travel Zoo's best bets list for 2026. I think for a lot of folks who haven't been there before, this could be a good year to go. There's a lot that's new there now along the riverfront, but still maintaining that very sort of nostalgic charm. Yeah.
Right. In general, when it comes to traveling, here you are a travel expert. What kind of things should people do when they're traveling for the holidays? And many times, you know, people have already booked it, but I'm talking about things that, like when you get to the airport early, any sort of tips that you've come up with?
Well, my biggest thing, or when I travel with my family, we're a family of 5, but the biggest beef I have is the fact that they actually want to check luggage. And I know we keep talking about try not to check your luggage, but when the stress on the system is magnified, when you get a record number of people traveling on a particular day, the risk to you as far as getting your checked luggage, going somewhere else, the fees involved with it, and just the wherewithal having to carry this kind of thing across airports and across parking lots and to your hotel. I'm all about the carry-on luggage. And we did a family of 5 trip for 2 weeks through Europe a couple of years ago, and I said, only thing is, no checked luggage.
You are kidding me.
And of course, my wife thought I was kidding. Even my sons and my daughter thought I was out of my mind. The thing is that with a lot of the low-frills airlines that I knew we would be hopping on in Europe, you get dinged quite heavily on checked luggage.
$50, yeah.
100 plus sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
So I said, nothing but checked luggage. And it worked. We did it. 2 weeks. I mean, you know.
Are you washing T-shirts in the hotel scene?
We got creative in a couple of stops.
Okay.
You know what?
But it can be done.
The same thing. We just found in Paris. I found a laundromat.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and the sink and that hot water also works on a couple of occasions. But I know it saved us hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
And it just made traveling across Florence to get from the Airbnb to the train station that much easier.
So, I would dare say that the 3 of us here have traveled a little bit, and I've traveled quite a bit. But there are people who get really stressed out because they don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the time that they go, right?
Yeah.
What kind of first-time traveler tips do you have?
Well, I think I call it sort of investing in your travel sanity. There are a couple of things that we try to avoid having to pay more than we have to. Yes. We try to save wherever we go. But there are a couple of things like splurging on a club access.
What does that run per person? I've never done it.
You know, it'll go from like $30 to $59.
Which you can easily spend for one meal.
Right. You try to buy a sandwich and a beer at the restaurant next door, you're probably paying around.
Okay.
The beauty of this, so that encourages you to get there a little bit earlier even. Going to have access to just a more comfortable space. You know, you got all the perks like the Wi-Fi, the cocktails, the food, and it's a bit more of an oasis, especially on very busy travel days. If it's a very busy travel day, you want to purchase that pass early. Sometimes you get to the door and you realize, hey, we're not accepting these one-time passes anymore. It's only for those folks who have either pre-purchased the pass or are members already. So keep that in mind. But I think that if it's a couple of you, I've done it with a family before I joined the United Club. The United Club, it's like that's probably the best investment I make all year because I'm making.
How much does that run you?
It depends on your status, but for the year, unlimited access, and you get to bring a guest. In some cases, two. It's about $400 to $500. $550.
If you travel a lot, you can see that's worth it.
Absolutely. Paying a little bit more to board a little bit early. Especially, you know, if you've only got the carry-on and that overhead bin space is coveted, you don't want to have to gate check it. Maybe you splurge a little bit on that seat that gets you that earlier boarding.
Can I ask you real quick on checking at the gate?
Yeah.
Can they, like the whole, like, you know, I fly bargain, right? Let's just pretend Southwest. And so I'm there in the cattle call and I show up, I'm like boarding group B, whatever, and they say, we don't have space for that, you have to check it. Can they charge me at the gate? Or at that point, because the overhead is full, that's why it's being checked?
They're offering it to you now as a free perk. It's going to streamline the process, so it's just going to make everything go smoother.
Got it.
The only caveat is that oftentimes you're stuck having to gate check it all the way to your final destination. So if you've got to stop along the way and you want access to your bag at that stop, it could be tricky in that sense. If you got a nonstop flight, then you're going to get it when you disembark, or it could be that sometimes that bag gets put with a checked luggage that is coming out at the baggage claim. So that's a stop maybe you weren't planning on making. And oftentimes my bag I got a laptop in there. I've got things that I don't want to get tossed around. You know, you got to be aware of that. That's why boarding a little bit earlier, groups 1 through 4 versus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, might be just an investment worth making if you really are, you know, attached to your bag.
Yeah, at Southwest, I think you can pay $15 to move up.
Oh, okay. Which is less than checking a bag.
Right.
Sure. Exactly right.
Move up.
Exactly right.
Okay. Last question before we let you go, and it might be a little more personal. How do you travel with only a carry-on? I mean, what do you eliminate?
We're astounded.
What do I eliminate? I'm creative with my. So if it's a one-nighter, have you seen me
one-nighter is one thing. You went to Europe.
You know, I'm very creative with how I pack. I'm rolling things real tight. I am also reminding myself that there are certain things, in fact, there are a lot of things that will be available on the other side of that flight. I can get toothpaste. I can get a white T-shirt. There are certain things that I tell you, I overpack. I mean, why did I bring this many shirts for a trip that's only going to be 3 nights? But I'm committed to my carry-on only. So if I have to leg over certain things, I remind myself, you know, at the end of the day, I can probably purchase that once I get to my destination anyway. It's really for me, it's more the outfits that I know I'm going to wear, and depending on the weather, things that I definitely want to have. Do I need an umbrella? If I'm going to Hawaii, maybe it's just shorts and a loud flower pattern, couple of shirts. And then I find myself reusing certain things when I'm out there anyway. I'm like, yeah, I didn't need to pack. But yeah, I'm just. It's what I'm wearing and what am I
when I've traveled like this, I bring an empty bag that put it in that way, in case I come home with more stuff and I have to check something, at least I'm coming home and I can check that bag it was empty but now has stuff in it.
Right.
So, Gabe Saglier, Travel Zoo Senior Editor. We really enjoyed the segment you did with Andre, and we like having you here in person. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for letting me come in the door.
Absolutely.
All right, take 2 will continue just after a short break. Welcome back to Take Two. Sal Garcia and Andre, one last segment here. Andre, your segment today with about the credit card and hard. I always love, I know you do too, I always love getting advice about credit, what to do, what not to do.
Margaret Poe from TransUnion, we talked about it today because a lot of people are going to be using their credit cards during the holiday season, and some of the things that you should just do right away before you start buying gifts is to set a spending limit and to make a list. Do the spending limit before you make the list of things you
Okay.
right?
That's good. No, it makes sense.
It sounds stupid, but I might just go like, oh, wait
Seriously,
a minute, and then I look at my bill after.
How much
like,
can I afford to reasonably spend? How much is, when this leaves my bank account, it should be a reasonable number.
Reasonable number. And also don't shop when you're in a bad mood, because a lot of people use it to feel better about themselves.
The old retail therapy thing.
Yeah, retail therapy thing, that is a good thing. And I get these all the time. The credit card offers constantly in the mail. You know, I just say I have quite a few, but I only really use a couple of them because I get points and stuff with them. So I just stick with using those, the ones that I like for travel points, and I just use them for certain things. And my credit cards also have special features. Like, I never thought I would need like a Walmart membership, but like Amazon has one. But it gives me some free entertainment perks that go along with it.
Got it. Okay.
So I'll sign up for that just so I can get the free other stuff.
A lot of people will. One of the segments, I think it was yours or somewhere in the morning show, there was a lady who said, don't keep opening credit cards.
Okay, so I was going to go to that one next. Yeah. So I keep getting these offers in the mail constantly. Okay. And it's ridiculous, but people think, okay, well, you'll get this notice if you check your credit. Oh, you're above your utilization limit, or you're high on your utilization. So one thing that people can do is get more credit cards, so you have more credit, so your utilization goes down. But when you get those credit cards and they approve you for it, they have a hard impact on your credit report, and they lower your credit score.
Right.
So
it is temporary, but it will come down.
It is temporary. Yeah.
You don't want to do it right before you buy it.
If you're ordering more credit cards to lower your utilization score, then you're probably not properly managing the money that you do have on credit right now.
Is there and I thought there was, remind us, is there like a magic number? Let's say we have a $10,000 limit. We should keep it below, was it 3,000 or what?
It is 30% of your entire, so let's say you have like 5 credit cards with a total cap of $50,000. You should only be using 30% of that.
Okay.
30% across all cards. If you have one card, 30% max on that one card.
Okay.
And the other thing is, when you're using your card, if you have 5 cards, do not max out one card, then go to the other, max out the other, because the maximization, spread it out. Yeah, spread that 30% utilization across all your cards.
And nowadays, everyone always says, if you miss a payment, that is the worst thing you can do for your credit score.
Well, everything's automatic now.
So you could even if you try to set an automatic payment, even if it's just for the minimum, so it covers you, so you're not
just
late.
Get that covered, man.
Yeah,
just
get
do
that covered, and then you can pay. If you're in a position to pay the whole thing, you can do that. But at the very least, pay the minimum so you don't get dinged, because not only are you dinged credit-wise, but you get a fee usually.
Yeah, there's a fee on top of it. Okay, so this one is this is a biggie. After you've run up all your balances, you need to pay them off. For most people, the debt they run up during the holidays sets the tone for the next year. Right, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It carries into January.
Over. That's why you check your spending limit before you even get to the shopping situation, because you see what you have. Now, ideally, these experts say you should have paid everything off before you even got to this point of the year, or at least that should have been in your plan in mind. Like say during the summer, okay, I got to pay all my cards off because I'm going to go crazy again for the holidays, and that will kind of keep you more.
This adulting thing is hard.
Yeah, I learned the hard way, by the way, on my credit stuff. Yeah, I did.
I see.
That will do it for Take Two. We do this every day after the 9. I'm glad you're here. We do this at this very same platform. I'm really beginning to enjoy this, and I hope you are too. We'll have another show tomorrow after the 9. See you then.
Oakland teachers and neighbors standing with immigrants following ICE activity near an elementary school. It's a concern layered on top of the budget deficit facing the district. And just in this morning, another contender for Nancy Pelosi's congressional seat, the San Francisco supervisor throwing her name in the ring. And record-breaking Thanksgiving travel expected, while a new poll finds nearly half of Americans are rethinking their plans. Who's hitting the road and why some are staying home.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
All right, 24-hour difference here. Live look across downtown Oakland this morning, where you have overcast skies, a little rain as well. It's something that we did not see yesterday, but we knew was going to return. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
Good morning. I'm Gaskia Mikhaelian. A busy Thursday, November 20th. Weather is a big part of that, as it is every day. But this sort of weather is better for those who have to get out and about later in the morning and day, right, Steve?
Yes, correct, because we're seeing things winding down here. We had our overnight rain into the morning. We're about done, although we're not completely done here. I mean, there's still some drizzle out there, light rain, especially south, and I think there'll be some picking up a little later. When the front went through, now the upper low is on the way. 40s, 50s. We've been stuck all morning long on these temps here. There goes our front, but now dropping in will be the upper low, and you can see already activity on the north coast. So I expect that to pick up later on for us as well. From San Jose down to Morgan Hill, also in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and a little bit east, but almost done with this system, but not yet. Tomorrow will be done, as the low ends up in Southern California will be on the drier side. You can blame it on the rain. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers after the morning rain. Another cool day, upper 50s, low 60s. All right, Sal's here. It was really bad. It got better. Is it still okay or something new?
Well, that little
San Jose?
that little front in San Jose, whatever I don't think I'm calling it the right thing.
Yes, you are.
Is it a little front, or
yes,
is it it's the back edge of the system? Is that?
That is
I'm trying to
correct.
learn from you, Steve.
Sal, you're 100%. I'll give you an A.
Well, why, thank you. It just passed through, and it was raining, so things were a little bit slow there in San Jose, and it's not unusual for people to slow down. Fortunately, we didn't get a lot of major crashes, but let me put up the grid. You can see for yourself that 101 and 85, and all of them are slow. We had some crashes northbound 101 in Mountain View, so Mountain View's not great right now. All of 101 is slow, and that South Bay commute is not doing well. So if you have any flexibility, you may want to put it off. Let's talk about the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. That looks a little different. It's a little drizzly there, but it is backed up to just beyond the maze. Metering lights are on. Now, let's go back to the desk.
We're still feeling and seeing the effects of the recent government shutdown on air travel.
Yeah, it's something KTVU's Aaron Dickens is tracking from SFO Airport this morning. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning. Yeah, it just started raining here at the airport again, so you really want to be careful if you're coming down here. You can see behind me the roads are pretty slick. And we definitely have a lot to talk about when it comes to travel, especially after the government shut down. San Francisco, though, is continuing to make a comeback. Officials say 160,000 people are expected at SFO in one day. That's tomorrow on November 21st. And then 6.3 million travelers are expected at the airport between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. That's about a 4% increase from last year. Now, AAA is expecting a new record nationwide. 81.8 million people expected to travel at least 50 miles from home over the Thanksgiving holiday. That's an additional 1.6 million compared to last year. And of course, most people are driving. Now, according to that new poll, the impact of the government shutdown, it is still lingering. 41% of Thanksgiving travelers have rescheduled or adjusted their plans. 40% of Christmas travelers have done the same thing. And 48% of Americans are concerned about flying due to safety reasons. And this poll is from the Point Sky.
I think that there's a lot of concern out there about air travel safety because of the shortage of air traffic controllers, something that was ended by the shutdown. In fact, it's just as bad, if not worse, and it has been for the past several years. It's been an ongoing concern. I think you're still going to see air traffic control shortages for the next few years at least.
So officials say today about 120,000 people are going to come to the airport, and then tomorrow 160,000. So that gives you kind of an idea that, how many more people are coming tomorrow. And just be careful if you're coming down here today. Aaron Dickens, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Aaron, thank you. New this morning, San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan says she's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat in the House. Pelosi's represented San Francisco for nearly 4 decades. She announced her retirement earlier this month. Supervisor Chan says her 2 decades in public service and work as the Budget Committee Chair on the Board of Supervisors give her the experience and skills needed for the position. She says she's ready to handle President Trump's attacks on immigrants, the LGBTQ community, people of color, and the working class.
Are strategic, we're thoughtful, we can maneuver very difficult political terrain and still deliver resources that San Francisco deserves.
Supervisor Chan came to the U.S. from Hong Kong when she was 13. She and her brother were raised by a single mother. She says her priorities include making sure San Francisco remains a sanctuary city and is affordable for more than the wealthy.
I would say that not only that I represent San Francisco values, I can deliver for San Francisco. San Francisco needs a fighter and defender of our values, but also needs someone that be pragmatic and having a strategic approach.
Supervisor Chan faces at least 2 other candidates, California State Senator Scott Wiener and former Chief of Staff to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Shoykot Chakrabarty.
Well, in Oakland, there were tense moments near an elementary school because of ICE activity. We talked to a man who says he was confronted by plainclothes federal agents at gunpoint.
I was feeling like intimidated, and I feeling like they tried to shoot me. I escaped and run, and I crashed my car.
Well, the man crashed his car near 31st and West Streets. The agents caught up but did not arrest him. Hoover Elementary and Preschool went into what's called a secure school protocol. Teachers, union reps, and others surrounded the campus to try and protect students.
We will stand up against this type of fascist engagement in our city. That's what Oakland is known for. And so we're just getting started.
The Department of Homeland Security responded to the incident this morning, saying it was a targeted enforcement operation against one person. They say the person they were looking for has a long history of arrests, including for things like domestic battery, multiple DUIs, and possession of a controlled substance.
That action by the feds was one of 2 main topics at a meeting of the Oakland Unified School District. The other, the district's $100 million budget deficit. Public safety also a top concern. The meeting came 1 week after a student at Skyline High was injured by gunfire on campus.
Hundreds of community allies showed up to ensure that our schools remained safe and our community was supported. So I want to just say, as OEA president, that immigrants are welcome here and ICE needs to get out of Oakland.
Before the school board meeting, a parent who didn't want to be shown on camera said student safety is a top priority.
They're going to be protected, everything. Make it easy for everyone to understand what the process is of how the kids are going to get to school, how they're going to leave, what they're going to do after or even before.
Oakland Unified says it must cut spending by $100 million over the next 2 years. 2 budget options were proposed by the school board. Both would keep all schools open and reduce the size of the school district's central administrative office. There are proposals to make cuts to things like cleaning services and programs for teacher development.
Time now is 8:08, and we want to see the commute on 80 because some of that drizzle has moved through. It's not hard rain, but it is slowing the commute down. Earlier, as you know, or overnight, we had some of the harder rain, and it caused some puddles. But right now, it's looking kind of normal. And if you look at the commute, things are slowing down everywhere. But people aren't really going fast enough to get into violent collisions on most of these freeways. It's just too slow to do that. You can see almost everywhere, though, is kind of filled in. So this is the kind of day where nothing to write home about, but certainly no picnic driving out there almost everywhere you look. Even Highway 24 now looks to have some problems right near the Caldecott. You can see how heavy it is. It's slow, solid from Walnut Creek all the way to Oakland. So this is, just know what you're getting into when you get out there. 8:09, let's go back to the desk.
Well, the countdown is on for the Justice Department to release all the Epstein files, but there are concerns that all the information won't be released to the public. And the reason may stem from an action recently called for by President Trump. Plus,
it was not a prank. No one's laughing.
It's very harmful because of the political state that we're in.
Chaos on campus sparked by someone impersonating an immigration agent. Why students at Sacramento State say their school is failing in its response.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby and Myers, we know the stakes: your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-million, because you deserve justice.
Some of the stories we're following here at 8:13. A UC Berkeley student has died days after he was found unconscious outside a pool. Berkeley police found the young man unresponsive at an off-campus fraternity house where more than 300 people were gathered. Police are submitting a case to the DA for potential charges against the fraternity's adult safety coordinator, who's accused of providing alcohol to minors. More police officers are patrolling the area around San Jose State University after threatening graffiti was found on a bathroom wall. University officials say it's the second time in 2 weeks racist graffiti's been found on campus. Some lecturers and professors have moved their classes online or canceled them altogether. The FBI has been notified.
President Donald Trump says he will meet with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani this Friday. The meeting will take place in the Oval Office and will be the first time the two meet since Mamdani defeated former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in the mayoral race earlier this month. Trump has slammed Mamdani, labeling the Democratic Socialist a communist, threatening to deport Mamdani, who was born in Uganda, and also threatening to pull funding from the city. Mamdani has been a prominent critic of the president.
President Trump signed legislation ordering the Department of Justice to release